stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sun lights. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast. This is season 2, episode 1. That's right, a brand new season. And a lot of you guys, I've seen some of the comments already. Why the hell is there a new season? Well, because look, all of season 1 was about rumors, leaks, hype for an unannounced system. It's here now. Well, not quite, but it's announced anyways. Officially confirmed by Nintendo. Nintendo Switch 2 is happening. So now we are in the first full season of Switch 2 Mania. It's going to be crazy. We obviously are going to have some Switch 2 topics tonight, but we have some other topics as well, which is really fitting for the start of season 2, because we're going to talk about games today. We've done so much, like barely any talk about games really over the last month or two. Now we finally get into game talk, which is really what it's all about if we think about it. I mean, you see the smirk on Stash's face over there. He's been waiting to finally talk games. So,
I have.
We got quite a show for you guys today. Just give you a quick rundown. You know, we got a rumored direct for next month. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. Some Switch 1 goodness there. Switch 1 goodness. That's pretty good. Hey, well, we're gonna get into some maybe negative things about Switch 2. I know we're so positive and jolly over here, but you know what? People are raising concerns out there. So let's go ahead and address those. We have a really killer topic. This topic has been in the works for a little while. In fact, Eric is still working on it right now.
Yep, and probably will be for a while.
Yep. What 10 games define the Nintendo Switch generation to you? That's a really big one right there, because that's 8 years. Like, when we look back on Switch, like a decade from now, what are the games we're going to be like, oh yeah, man, that totally that defined that era? We all have. If you think back at all the gaming eras, there's certain games we always think about with certain eras. So that's going to be a fun topic. And we have, what I said, there's still work being done on it, is Eric is compiling a fan list, because we asked this question of the fans a couple weeks ago. So he's compiling, so we have a definitive top 10 from the fans that will compare to our top 10s at the end. Plus, a lot of us on the show, the reason this will be the last topic is because a lot of us on the show might not have our top 10s made yet. So I have a feeling some of us might be typing those lists up throughout the show. And then the last topic we have, at least, well, I don't know which topics first, we'll find out in a bit, is there's some rumors out there about a 3D Mario and a Zelda remake and remaster. So we're going to talk about those two things specifically. So that's going to be great. But without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome in our guests on the show. So we got, I don't know who the hell Mike Odyssey 2 is. Am I bored over there? It says Mike Odyssey tonight. I don't remember the 2.
Mike Odyssey 2. Post, hence the, what do you call the, because Switch 2 is announced, it's official. So I'm now Mike Odyssey 2. Change my name. So.
Did you change your channel name too?
No. Just me. Just the person.
As I say, any channel name changes have to be before 100K.
Yeah,
after that, YouTube gets really cranky when you change your name.
I changed my name once, so I can't change it again for a long time. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for the invite. It's super cold. It's an abomination in here in Florida because it's not supposed to snow, and it did.
Yeah, how many inches you got over there, Mike?
We got the top of the grass layer, like the little bit, the hue.
It's like an inch.
No, not even like upstate Florida. Yeah, we got a little bit of snow, and there was snow in the roads. And then mid Florida, we got a little blanket on top of the grass, and whatever fell on the asphalt just melted fast.
Is everyone like panicking out there?
I am.
And like, because I mean, look, like my Milwaukee Bucks, I'm wearing Bucks gear. They're supposed to play today. They're not, because New Orleans has what I would describe. I looked at the news report. It's like a dusting of snow. It's barely any, but they don't know how to handle snow in New Orleans. So I can't blame them, because like they never drive in it. They don't have any system set up to deal with it.
And when it's 60 degrees outside, people wear scarves, boots, and everything like that here. So imagine
I'm on the beach. I'm swimming in the ocean in that weather. What are we talking about?
I mean, I'm from upstate New York, so I lived upstate New York. I just left, leaving the cold behind. The cold followed me here. That's why I'm upset.
That's why you're upset. I understand. All right. We got Gamebird Classic is back. How's it going?
It's going. The Birdman is back.
Everybody
Thanks
got
for having me.
Everybody got to do it with him. One, two, three.
Yeah, come on. What's up, guys? Join the flock. There we go.
Everyone with mustache. He's like, I'm a rebel. Over
No,
here.
I saw the mustache going like this a little bit. You guys didn't know.
Mustache was doing. I was like, who are the Suns playing? Is it a team with a bird in it? Then I understand.
No, it's the Nets.
Okay. So it'd be like if it's like the Hawks or something. I get it. You can't be flapping.
That's right.
Thanks for
All
the
right,
support, Mike, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it.
Andrew Collette, as always, one of our co-hosts. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. Just a comment a bit on the snow in unusual places. When I grew up in California, it snowed once. I lived there for 19 years, and it wasn't even an inch, and we canceled school. It was amazing. So that's why I remember that day. And it's funny because I'm in a place that snows a lot now, and we haven't been getting like any snow this winter, so it's weird. But besides that, I'm doing good. I'm nice and warm.
Yeah, well, I'm in Wisconsin. We're a place that usually gets a ton of snow. We've had 3 snowfalls total in the last 2 winters, and I haven't even shoveled.
Yeah.
I haven't even shoveled. It's not even bad. It's like nothing. And yet we still had a snow day for school because it was negative 20.
No, it wasn't a snow day. It was a cold day.
Yeah, I know. No, they officially called it a snow day on the school blast email.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but okay. It's because it's cold. Negative 20. Eric, do you ever remember school being canceled for negative 20? Yeah, what the fuck? They have heat in the schools. I don't know what they're doing. Well, we know my kids at the bus stop. What are we doing? Dude, we went to a playoff football game. What was it, negative 50 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs. Yeah.
Playoffs?
Talk about playoffs. Anyways, so yeah.
Kind of side note, I still get a little like wowed when I go to a school that's indoor because like growing up they were all outdoor. We didn't have any halls or anything, and when I come here, I'm like, geez, these are huge.
Yeah, they are huge. Yeah.
I think it's cool. I wish I had an indoor school. Just so much room.
There's a lot of room.
A lot of room for activities.
a lot of places you can hide.
Yeah, see, that's why I wanted them.
There you go. Hard to do that when you're right out in public. Eric, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Well, kind of.
Kind of good. I put him to work today. He gets excited and randomly frustrated at the same time. It's great.
I thought he was going to use the picker wheel again, but I guess not.
Yeah. Just randomly put games on a wheel and just
he might for his top 10. He'd be like,
Yeah,
"Hey, look, the fans already made like a huge list of games.
Right.
I'm gonna put them on the picker wheel. Whatever one it lands on, that's in my top 10."
Yep. Great idea. I like it.
Man. Thunderstash Gaming, how's it going, bud?
It's good. It's really good. Excited for the show. A lot of nice topics today. Like you said, a lot of video game related topics. Tangible games that we can play right now. So that's exciting. And it's a good send off because, that's Switch will get games for a few more years, but we all know that once that news comes, I'm not going to want to talk about that.
Yeah,
now is the time to talk about it.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, but there's Metroid Prime 4 and ZZ." Yeah, okay. A lot of us will just be playing it on Switch too. So like,
exactly.
Because backwards compatibility. So we're running up to that era now. So, where Switch 1 games are also Switch 2 games because of that.
Yep.
All right, and that's who knows. It could be upgrades too. We have no idea. That's a conversation for a different day. All right, let's go ahead and get into our topic roulette. You know what? Let's have Andrew Collette go first, man. What topic do you want?
I want to do the Nintendo Direct for next month.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's like, please don't pick my topic that I'm trying to compile. All right. Eric's busy compiling. I'll let him go here. Stash, what do you want to take?
I'll take the topic that Eric's working on.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Last topic, right?
Yeah, well, we'll make it the
it's
last
gotta
topic.
be.
Yeah, we'll make it the last topic.
Sounds good.
All right, to give Eric more time and not have to lead a topic, I'll go next year. I will take, let's see here. Ooh, I'm going to go with any concerns for Switch 2. And there are concerns that are out there that I'll bring up, but we might have additional concerns, and we'll talk about that. And that leaves Eric with the 3D Mario and Zelda remake and remaster topic.
Cool.
So let me wait.
Fair enough.
There's not much notes for it. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy. So
Fair enough.
pretty easy. All right. And if Eric's still
Well,
compiling,
wish me luck.
I'll run the topic. I guess if Eric is still compiling.
Yeah, if not, I'll run it too. Either
Yeah.
way, we got you.
Yeah, we
Thank
got you.
Sounds good.
Eric, yeah.
Wish me luck. I got, I think, 75 comments to go through.
So
Woo!
after I went through like 60. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Andrew Collette, man. What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
I'll take it away. Yeah, so we hear from PH Brazil that there is the rumor of the direct from PH Brazil or is that the new game?
It's a rumor, but okay. I'll just whenever I go, I'll say. But,
Yeah. You can
Okay.
answer.
Well, anyways, there's a rumor. I think even if there wasn't a rumor, you could make a pretty safe bet that there's one next month. We also got Pokemon Presents. But anyways, we hear there's a new game coming from a beloved franchise that's niche from Nintendo. I've heard from Nate the Hay, the Kirby Planet Robobot HD rumor floating around. I just want to know what you guys are expecting. And the reason I picked this topic is pretty lame. It's because I have no idea. I've thought long and hard, and all I can think of is that April Direct. Anything I think of, I'm like, no, that would be in the April Direct. And I can't get my mind to do it. So I want you guys to educate me and tell me what's in your mind. And let's start with Gamebird. What's on your thoughts for this February Direct?
Oh,
Is it just a
man.
partner showcase? I forgot to ask that too. But anyways.
Right. Well, first off, if the rumors are true, I think it's really cool, regardless of the caliber of this direct. I excuse me. I know one of the times I was on, we talked about how in the past, Nintendo's kind of let their systems die a little bit. It just kind of fizzles out leading up to the launch of the next console. So giving any sort of showing this close to when their next console is going to launch is rad, whether it's a partner showcase or a mainline direct. As far as what I'm hoping to see, obviously I'm hoping it's a mainline direct and not a partner showcase. I'd love to see, obviously I'm sure we can all agree there's plenty of ports that would be rad on the Switch. Obviously Prime 2 and Prime 3 come to mind. With Prime 4 on the horizon, a lot of people have been begging for those Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD remakes. And then I don't know. I feel like just doing the ports is a safe and great way. I feel like there's got to be that one more thing. Kirby makes a lot of sense. That fits really well into that kind of end of life console. It's a safe announcement. Kirby's popular, but I don't know. I'd like to see some fun little third-party surprises. I know we had some. There was that one RPG from Level 5, that Deca Police, that looked pretty cool. That game is probably coming to Switch too, but I'd love.
Jeez,
to see
it's been a
more
long
of
time
that.
since we've seen that, right?
Yeah. So I'd love to see that. In one of the last directs, I know we had from the same studio. I forget the name that made Danganronpa. It was another kind of visual novel detective whodunit game that looked pretty cool. So I think some more smaller scale third-party stuff as well as some ports is a pretty safe bet, with maybe one surprise like a Kirby. I'm trying to think of anything outside of Kirby that they wouldn't want to save for Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm struggling with that a little bit, but I don't know what you guys think.
So I hear Prime 2 and 3 and a Zelda port talked about a lot. If you had to put some money on it, do you think do you think both or only one of these or none are coming this February? I'll tally up everyone as we go through too.
I think it would be one of the two. I don't think it would be both of them.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. I know, Mike, you sound like you were already ready to talk about this when I brought it up. So what's your thoughts this next coming month?
The Nintendo Direct is happening. It's not a rumor that it's happening. It's happened for the past 7 years now, and even last year we only got one main direct. Still, we got a partner direct in February. So whether it's happening or not, it's happening. It's not a rumor, and so sorry, PH. After that,
I will say,
to push back. Wasn't September a thing for year after year after year, and then it didn't happen?
At least February has not failed.
sure.
Right, but this could be the first.
And I could also say Nintendo has already announced a direct.
Yeah.
For April. which is a
Yeah.
lot different than most years.
Still standing on February, not failing.
By the way, I totally think what's happening in February.
Yeah,
I agree with you too.
I mean, just by having Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends Arizona on the map, you know,
there we go.
it's still, you know, we have to get dates for that. They keep pushing that. Oh yeah, we have Metroid Prime 4 2025, Pokemon Legends ZA 2025. You know, and so obviously those dates will be announced in the upcoming Nintendo Direct, which is going to be focused on Nintendo Switch 1, and no mention of Switch 2 in that Direct, because of course they're saving everything for April. But besides those games, which have been announced, I think the remake that we're probably going to talk about later will be not remaster. Okay, we'll leave that for later on. Right, that's another topic. That's another topic. All right.
Wait, which game is this?
The remake, because I have a thought that kind of combines this topic and then the next topic.
Okay.
The Zelda game.
Yeah. So
Okay.
For this,
let's save the Zelda game for the other topic. Yeah.
all right. So for this Direct, we're gonna get a Wind Waker HD on this.
Okay.
Yeah. So Wind Waker HD on this one. That's what I believe it's coming. Of course, the Metroid Prime 2 and 3. It's a given. Metroid Prime 4 is around the corner, so don't be surprised.
So you think all three of those are coming in February?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, they released Metroid Prime remastered, right? And I think that it's only fitting for them to kind of continue the lines for those who want to get on track with playing the next two Metroid games without having to go back and play them at a low resolution. So they might just give us an HD version of Metroid Prime 2 and 3, maybe at a dual pack for $70, you know? And so those games, Metroid Prime 2 and 3, we got Pokemon coming there. That brand new game that they're talking about, I'm gonna call it. No, it's not happening. We're gonna yeah, I'm gonna call it. It's not happening. It's not happening. What else? Robobot, by the way, remember the trademark, the new trademark for Robobot they published on X. So Thunder.
I remember.
Yeah. So that Robobot thing, say hey, that's good. So I'll call that one too. I think it's gonna be a Direct Mini for some reason.
I forgot about the minis.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Are they just go Prime 4?
Yeah, Prime 4 is yeah. They're gonna get
a mini if they put 4 in there.
I mean, a Direct Mini is still plentiful games, right? We have at least in 20 minutes we can get like 20 games.
What?
15 games, right? Still a Direct Mini is 20 minutes, right? 21 minutes. A full Direct is 40.
I think it's more about what's in the Direct that decides if it's
yeah.
Like the bigger the games, the more emphasis, the longer the trailers they get, it kind of all adds up.
Yeah.
I wonder if Prime 4 is going to release on the Switch 2 if they just save the next Prime 4 trailer and release date for the April Direct. I do wonder that.
I think I'm more inclined to believe that too. I think people generally don't believe it, but I do think announcing 2 and 3 and 4 at the same time would kind of eat into the attention of each other. I think just give a couple months to 2 and 3. I'm leaning towards they're not coming. I'm very much in the minority on that, but yeah, I think I agree with you. If it's coming, I feel like they got to be separated a little for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
And we've already seen the game running on the Switch, and it looks beautiful, I have to say. It was shocking to see how rad that game looked running on Switch. But we've seen it there now. How cool would it be the next time to see it again running on Switch 2? Enhanced visuals, the ray tracing, all that good stuff. You know it's on Switch. You now know it's coming to Switch 2. Regardless, I don't know. I forgot to mention, Mike, not to interrupt you. I thought it was going to be one of those two port combos, Wind Waker Twilight Princess or Prime 2 and 3. The one that I think is more likely is Prime 2 and 3. I see Wind Waker Twilight Princess saved for Switch 2. And I don't even know at what caliber. I don't know if it is the HD ports or if we're going to get an updated Switch Online with GameCube games, and maybe they bring the GameCube versions of those games over.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think the issue with bringing over the HD versions, as much as I'd love to see it, and I've said this before on the podcast, those games by default will play better on the Wii U because the dual screen functionality with your menu, items, map, it's a better gameplay experience on the older hardware. So, and Wind Waker in its GameCube form to a lot of people looks even better than the HD because it has more of that Saturday morning cartoon look. So I'm more inclined to think that at this stage we're going to get Prime 2 and 3. So sorry to interrupt, Mike. I just wanted to clarify what I thought would be there.
You're good, bro. Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I had just 3 more games that I wanted to add. And then an NSO prediction. I think we're gonna get some type of Mario game for like a last Mario game for Nintendo Switch. Could be some kind of port, maybe Mario Galaxy 2, right? And maybe that Mario Galaxy 2 with some type of edition. Maybe that could be the brand new game they're talking about, like an edition, like a Bowser's Fury type of game added to Mario Galaxy 2. I can see that happening for Nintendo Switch. The other one is, my God, I just forgot. Some type of Zelda game. Some type of Zelda game. I know we just got one, but I'm gonna put that some type of Zelda game. But NSO, I'm gonna call it GameCube. I call it every single direct, but I'm calling it this time GameCube because I know that there's a lot of people saying but GameCube games are gonna be HD and remade. I'm like, yeah, but remember, there's like 800 games on GameCube. There's so many games out there that will not get a chance to be remade because their current games right now are just so hot. Like Mario Kart, right? Double Dash is a great one to live online. We have Smash Brothers Ultimate, Smash Bros Melee can live online with multiplayer, which will be awesome. And it'll be awesome for the competitive community to have it finally there. Animal Crossing, the very first game for the cozy fans out there, right? Have that first Animal Crossing game on NSO as well would be a really good add-on. I think it's a direct mini. And don't be surprised if they do direct mini partner showcase like they did with direct last year's double whammy with the Indie World partner showcase.
Yeah, to add on to your NSO thought, I think it's important to remind people that just because, like, let's just say we know GameCube's coming, just because GameCube would be coming doesn't mean they're going to put everything on there. Yeah, and they're definitely not going to put it on there all right away. Exactly. And if they put Wind Waker on there, I bet it's going to be at least years till we see it on there, if even when we see it ever during the Switch 2 cycle.
Yeah.
I think we got a little lucky with. It's so different because Link's Awakening remake was literally a remake.
Yeah.
But they didn't have it available on Game Boy NSO until I think it was a year later. But that's such a difference. While I feel like GameCube to it's not as crazy of a hop. So I agree with you there. All right, Eric, let's get to your thoughts on next month's potential direct.
Oh, that's a tough one. Man, I think Nintendo's going to save it all for their kind of. I don't even know if they'd even save it for their next one in April. They might do one in June right before the Switch 2 comes out, and that's when they're going to blow their load on their games. So I'm going to just kind of stick with this one. Might be a partner or an indie, I think. And then once they kind of get past the showing of the Switch 2, which I think is going to be just that, going to be focusing on that in April, not even games, maybe a couple of them, but then in June, right before it releases, just here you go. Here's your games.
Wait, so you're saying 2 directs before the Switch 2 comes out?
Well, there's already the one in April.
Oh, right. That's what I mean. In April and June.
And then in June, yep.
Oh, dang.
June's going to be games.
That'd be something.
June's going to be games.
I never thought of that.
April will be the couple of major release games plus the Switch 2 itself. And then this one here in February, if there is one, is going to be like an indie partner type thing.
Okay. That sounds a lot more possible when you phrase it like that. For sure. Well, sweet. All right, Thunder, what are you thinking?
Okay. So, PH Brazil said there's a new game coming from a beloved franchise that's niche from Nintendo.
I think he said later on in a reply that when he said niche, he probably went too far with that. That might not be so niche.
Okay. So I've been thinking about that ever since I saw that tweet. You know, like what game could it be? And I didn't put a ton of thought, right? It's just like a thought in the back of my mind, you know, where I might just be going throughout my day normally, and then I'll think about it for a few minutes. Like, what could it be, right? So it's not like I'm thinking about it all day, but I'm definitely like, what could it be? And you know, one of the titles that comes to mind is Kid Icarus.
Mhm.
Beloved. I believe it is, but I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. I grew up playing the original Kid Icarus. I'm old. I'm very old. You know, I played Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters on Game Boy, the original Game Boy. So there's those two Kid Icarus games. We got, you know, the 3D classics on 3DS, which was just playing. It's cool, but it was just playing Kid Icarus in 3D. Obviously, we got Pit and Smash, and then we got Kid Icarus on 3DS. So I don't know if that falls into that category. Then there's the Fire Emblem genealogy of the Holy War, right? But they're saying it's new. He's saying it's a new game. So even if that's a remake, I'm thinking that can't count as new then. That would be more along the lines of maybe the remaster section. Maybe. I don't know.
You mean like if they did Kid Icarus Uprising or the younger, the older ones?
I'm just thinking if we got a new one because he says there's a new game coming. New game from a beloved franchise.
Mm,
So it's not a remake. It's not a remaster then. He's saying it's a new game.
interesting.
Right? So yeah, I was trying to really read it close and I'm like, okay. So it's probably not those. So maybe we get a new Kid Icarus, but I feel like we'd get the 3DS remake first. So I don't think that's realistic. Then I thought about Star Fox. You know, I mean, God, it's been absent for a very long time.
Oh, don't give me hope.
I know, right?
I want it so bad.
So I thought of that. Then I thought of course, F-Zero GX. But I'm like, again,
Not new.
that would just be a
right.
remaster. So if his words are true that it's a new game, it can't be that either. You know, obviously I've talked about a bunch on the podcast about Super Mario Galaxy 2 coming out on Switch 1. I believe it was left off the 3D All-Stars for a specific reason.
Mhm.
I think a great reason to release it is for the 40th anniversary, of course, of Mario. That'd be a great way to celebrate it with Switch 1 owners, and then Switch 2 owners will have the new 3D Mario. So both Switch owners get to eat for Mario's 40th, which I think is a good thing. And maybe they do add a little something to it, like they did with, you know, Bowser's Fury. That'd be nice. Then I thought about Mother, Earthbound. I mean, you know, obviously I'm dreaming here, but I still thought about it because, you know, a man can dream, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we wouldn't get a new one before we got 3. So it's like, what could it be? I mean, it's not going to be a new wave race. I mean, if it was a new wave race, I pretty sure I died and went to heaven.
Nintendogs.
Maybe it's a Pilot Wings.
Yeah.
Hmm?
You know, it's just like, what is niche for Nintendo? How can we define this unless we go really niche? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I've thought about it. I don't really know where we go from here. Would I love to see a new game out of all those games that I mentioned? Like a new game in that series? Absolutely. I guess we'll see. As far as the Kirby Planet Robobot, we've heard so much about this.
Mhm.
I 100% believe that's happening. That rumor's been floating around for a while. I think the rumors are credible as well. So yes on that. Now for what I think we're really going to see, and again, I put this in my 2025 most anticipated games video, which I think was a ballsy move, honestly. because you know how the internet likes to call people out if you say anything incorrect. But
Yeah.
I did it because I'm like, you know what? I stand by this because I believe, just logically speaking, that we're going to get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 this year. So I put it on that list for coming out this year. Of course, I already had people say those games haven't been announced. I'm like, yeah, I know. I literally said that in the video, but I believe it's going to happen. That has to happen, guys. There's no two ways about it. How else? How else is Metroid Prime 4 going to reach a new tier?
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Mhm.
And if it doesn't happen, the only tier is going to be the tears running down the faces because the sales are going to be horrible.
Mm.
When I say horrible, they're not going to reach the heights that it needs to in order for Metroid to break in to a new stratosphere. And it's very important, obviously, because how much money's been spent on this game?
Yeah.
It was first announced E3 2017. Okay, like this is crazy territory. This is 8 years.
Do we
Yeah.
have any idea what the rough sales numbers were for Prime Remastered?
I know we saw it in the million section of a Nintendo financial report.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't recall how, because I am curious. I have to imagine, again, I am in the camp of I think Prime 4 is gonna launch also on the Switch 2, and it's gonna be,
Yeah.
if not at launch, soon after launch. And I imagine that's probably going to draw a lot of people back to who've never played a Metroid Prime game before to go check out that original remaster. And it seems like a good idea for Nintendo to have that 2 and 3 because it could be a good incentive for people who've never checked out the series to play the trilogy and dive in.
I'm waiting for it. I personally am waiting for the trilogy because I didn't play Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 1 during the GameCube era. I played it this one. So I'm waiting for the HD version to come out so I can continue the series kind of in the same theme instead of going back and playing it with lower graphics and stuff because I was so impressed by one.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you really have to get these games out because I think it's a big ask from Nintendo to be like, hey, we want you to play Metroid Prime 1,
Mhm.
and then we want you to not even think about the existence of Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Don't worry about anything. Just play part 4. I mean, could you imagine if you watch like the first Harry Potter and then someone insists that you watch part 4 next?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, what? Why? You know what I mean? Or like, same thing with any of the long running movie, like the Star Wars movies. Could you imagine that? Be like, why are we doing this? Why am I not seeing these other two? I think people are going to have a major hang up with it if you're being asked to jump from 1 to 4. I think they really need to get those out if they want to, be able to sell as many copies as possible. And I'm in the same camp too, GameBird, as far as Metroid Prime 4 releasing on both consoles. I think it has to, because of the amount of money that's been spent, the years in development, switching developer or switching directors, everything that's happened, right? So first it was what was it, Bandai that was first doing Metroid Prime, and then it went to Retro, and then didn't they have to replace the director maybe like a year or two in? And dude, that's a lot of money that's been spent if you think about that many years of development, and then you think about what is Retro Studios brought in, to add to the bottom line. It's like, well, we had DK Tropical Freeze,
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to look at all those factors too, and it's like they got to make up that money. But at the same time, when you release Metroid Prime 4, it's going to have, Switch will be over 150 million user install base. So you have to do that. You have to take advantage of that. If you're Metroid, you cannot just release it on Switch 2. Or if you do, again, there's ways about it, right? You could release it on Switch 1, but if you play it on Switch 2, it plays better. You know, there's options there. There could be a performance patch. There's a number of options they can do. All I gotta say is they gotta just make sure that it at least plays better, I think, on Switch too.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But you gotta open it up to the entire Nintendo install base.
I 100% agree.
But that for the February Direct, that's really where I'm at. It's really important for Metroid Prime 2 and 3 to get out the door before Part 4. And when's 4 coming, right? Is it a launch title? We don't know. Is it going to be in the fall before 3D Mario? Like, if you ask me, I think Mario Kart's the launch title. I think 3D Mario is the flagship holiday Christmas title.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Metroid Prime 4 is going to fall somewhere in between that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about where Nintendo wants to put it. So people need enough time to play these games too. And if you're releasing a game like Xenoblade on March 20th, that's going to be, you know, 80, 100-hour game. You got to give people enough time to do this before it's all said and done, to get a little bit of a lead up. So that's why I think it's a damn shoo-in that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 has got to be talked about. If it's not, I don't know. It might be too late. You might not be able to get as much out of it as you should. So that's where I'm at. Nate, where are you at?
Look, I'm going to try to keep this brief, right? Trying to cut the show down from the 5 hours it's been lately. So here's the thing. It's going to be a fucking blowout. It's going to be a full Nintendo Switch 1 full direct. Full standard general direct. We ain't looking at anything that's about direct minis or partner showcases at this point. They're going all out. And they're going to go all out because it's the final Switch Direct. I do not believe we will have any more dedicated Nintendo Switch 1 general or mini directs again after this. There will be no more. There might be partner showcases. Who knows? There could be some indie worlds that are related to Switch 1, although at that point they'll probably just say Switch 1 and Switch 2 because backwards compatible. So that's the thing. Once Switch 2's out, I don't really think there's anything dedicated to Switch anymore.
Yep.
And I think once we get to April, I mean, Nintendo's entire focus shifts. So, at least marketing-wise, shifts. So I feel like this is going to be like the last hurrah. And they did something similar actually after Nintendo Switch was first revealed in October. We had a direct related to the 3DS or the January showcase. So they did this before. Like, this is repeating history with their currently active platform because Wii U is already discontinued at that point. So I think they're going to go all out. I do think that they're going to have one big new announcement. I don't think PH Brazil is lying to us. I think he's been spot on with these directs long enough at this point that I have a lot of faith in what he's saying. And even like when we had like the patents and like the trademarks with the Kirby Planet Robobot, him and Nate the Hate were teasing this like 2 years ago that this game was coming. It's been teased for a while. They just, you know, they're a bit more like now they're just saying it more often because it's happening this year. That being said, I expect that game to be there. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be there. I also think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be there on April 2nd as well. Yeah, but I feel like it's been 6-7 months since we've seen Metroid Prime 4. It is an announced game for this year. Nintendo's already put up a post advertising that the game is coming. Mm-hmm. So there's no way that they're going to let a general Switch 1 Direct go by and not have Prime 4 in there. Yep. But I think what it's going to mostly be is they're going to have just another trailer. Maybe they show off a boss fight this time or something. They show off something new about the game, something new that gets people excited. Because last time it was kind of like, oh yeah, it looks like Metroid Prime, right? All right, now they show off something new this time. And then at the end, they shadow drop Prime 2-3 HD.
Yes.
It'll be at the end of the trailer. They'll drop it. We'll get like a quick 5 seconds of like those games, and boom, they're out. You can buy them right now, $40 a pop or whatever they want to charge for them. Maybe they sell them as a combo back for $60, physical later. I have no idea. Because I do think those games probably, you don't do one remastered and then don't have 2 and 3 come out before 4. It just has to happen. And hey, we're a year from when they shadow dropped the last one. Shadow drop it again. All right. I think that's a given. I think a lot of people kind of expect 2 and 3. It'd be really shocking to have a general Switch 1 dedicated direct and not have 2 and 3 in it. Because that means they might not be coming out then before 4, which would be really weird since we got 1. These games haven't been played in a long time, guys. It goes back to Wii. Wii was when 3 Corruption came out. So, like, it's been a while. There's people playing Switch right now that have never heard of Metroid Prime.
18 years since the Wii game.
So,
wild.
Yeah, so that I think is important to get some newer fans caught up to 4. Although I think 4 will be able to be played standalone. I don't think you'll need to be able to. You have to play the prior 3 to enjoy 4. It's the way most Nintendo games are. So setting that aside, I do think there'll be some sort of Zelda remaster here, whether it's Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I would prefer Wind Waker because next time I see Twilight Princess, I want it to be a from the ground remake. I don't want it to be just porting the HD version over. And Wind Waker, look, love it or hate it. I know a lot of people actually love the game. Bottom line is both those ports have supposedly been done for years. So it's just time to bring it out. Maybe they even say Twilight Princess HD, and they do bring that out, like the old HD version, but they do it next year, right? Because they're going to keep supporting Switch for another couple of years. This isn't the last. This Direct won't. I guarantee there will be games from Nintendo after this Direct still coming to Switch 1.
Yep.
They're just going to be remakes and remasters. They're not going to be like things they're going to make big deals about. It's going to be kind of like when they dropped the Bayonetta 3 release date on Twitter. It's just going to be like a drop like that on social media. Hey, boom, we got this game coming. It's coming out in a couple months for Switch 1. Cool. And if it does get announced in like a normal Direct, it's going to be because it's got some special Switch 2 features related to it, which may or may not be a thing with all Switch 1 games. We don't really know if there's upgrades. We'll find out April 2nd, I'm sure. Besides that, when I was talking about the PH Brazil stuff and him having like this big game, and he talked about it being like a beloved franchise that's niche, and I know he kind of clarified, well, maybe it's not niche, because it's hard to be beloved and niche at the same time.
Right?
Very.
Beloved makes you kind of like pretty well known. But then also, if you're saying niche, I assume at that point you're going off sales then. What would be niche franchises for Nintendo in sales? Well, okay, probably a franchise that hasn't had a new entry in a while. But is still well known and really loved. And it's very obvious. And I think everyone keeps forgetting. It's the new Donkey Kong game. We've had that rumored for 2 years that they had some new Donkey Kong, whether it was 3D or side-scrolling. DK games, if you go look at the sales history, they don't actually sell that well. They're not massive sellers. They sell like Kirby does. We haven't had a new one, technically, since like 2014. It's been 11 years since we've had a brand new Donkey Kong game. So it fits the criteria if it's been a while. It's a beloved franchise, a beloved character. They have the theme parks now. They have, obviously, he's going to be prominently featured again in the new Mario movie, probably. Yeah. We don't know that for sure. We haven't seen a trailer, but I'm assuming he's going to be prominently featured in there. So he's well known. He's a very beloved character. But Mario's really the one that blew up, not Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong kind of went by the wayside once Mario blew up.
Yep.
And again, we don't get Donkey Kong games very often. Think about, we got Returns, and we got Tropical Freeze, and before that it was what? DK64 and the Bongo game, the Jungle Beat. Mm-hmm. I mean, we just don't get DK games very often. Just for some reason we don't. So it fits the criteria, I think, of being a beloved franchise. That if you just glance at sales, you can say, okay, it's pretty niche. We don't get the game very often because it doesn't sell well. And I know it feels weird because we just had Returns. I don't think Nintendo gives two craps they brought Returns back. It looks like one of like the cheapest, simplest jobs ever done. Like I don't.
And
really,
it is.
Yeah, whatever studio's behind it. I know we now know it's in the credits what studio was. Well, it wasn't a first party studio that did it. Yeah. So like they outsourced that. So I kind of look at it as DK needs a little bit of a revenge tour because I think Returns HD is leaving a little sour taste in some people's mouths. I've seen nothing really but negative posts from people about it that were excited because like hitboxes changed and there's like graphical things missing that actually affect the gameplay, not just the way it looks.
Really?
Yeah, some of the stages are more difficult because the graphic was pared back, so it doesn't look like it's hitting you, but it's actually hitting you. Even though
the hitbox thing is so real, though.
Yeah, the hitbox
that's horrible.
It's my first time playing it, and I'm having a blast with it. Like,
yeah, well, and that's
it's still great.
It's still a great game.
Yeah,
it's first time playing it. You probably won't notice these things.
Yeah.
But it's the third release, so people have played through this, many times already. And it's like, no, this is different. This doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I mean, the idea is for new fans, anyways. They're gonna love it, which is I think most new players love it. I know my kids are liking it. So shout out to Nintendo for sending me a copy, even though I didn't ask for one. They really want everyone playing that game, even though I had no intention of playing it. But you know what? I gave it to my kid, and he's having a good time. That being said, I think that's the one. I think that's what PH Brazil is talking about. He just doesn't want to say DK in case it doesn't happen. because it's been rumored for so damn long.
Yeah.
And at this point, some people will be like, "Oh, if it's a brand new 3D Donkey Kong, I'd rather that be on Switch too." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'd rather it just come out. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's just have it come out."
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there'll be a number of third-party games. There was all those rumors about Nintendo contacting third parties about bringing over a bunch of ports and remasters of older games, and I think that is absolutely happening. Especially now that Nintendo's focus is shifting to Switch 2, it's going to kind of leave a clear runway on Switch for some of these ports and remasters from third parties that could probably do really, really well. So I think that's absolutely happening, and it does help that Nintendo put up that graphic at their last investors meeting. Here's all of our partners. And they're a bunch of AAA third parties who we haven't seen games from on Nintendo in like years.
A wheel, man.
So it was a crazy list they put up. And I know a lot of that's probably for Switch 2, but I bet you some of that is some commitments to bringing some stuff to Switch 1 as well.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be a pretty damn big direct. Whatever the niche franchise thing is, that'll be the closer. I don't think ZA is going to be here. I think they could potentially announce that ZA will be in the Pokemon thing on the 27th. They could announce that. I know they can show Pokemon now in directs. That is absolutely a thing now. They broke that barrier.
Right?
Also, Mike saw they recently updated a patent for Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers from 3DS. Sure, maybe that's getting ported over. Absolutely possible. Anything from Nintendo's back catalog, they can get any company to kind of work. Grezzo is maybe working on it. They like bringing 3DS games over.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a pretty big direct, but it's going to be very, very, guys, just so you guys know, it's going to be very port and remaster heavy. And they're going to be really leaning on Prime 4 and this other game as like the two new games. And then I think they could tease ZA news for the Pokemon thing on the 27th. Because I honestly think this direct's happening like a week before then. So I think they won't mind at that point advertising Pokemon Day. Pokemon Day will already be announced at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Can I add one thing? Before the next person goes?
Yeah.
One announcement. And this one's gonna be big. Okay, I'm gonna go all on this one. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Something happened on January 5th that, well, I think me and one other person covered it. And this was the beginning of production for an upcoming movie. We're all expecting. Okay?
Zelda movie.
Legend of Zelda movie. I think they are going to reveal the cast for the live action movie, just like they did with the Mario movie during a direct. Right? That was a direct where Arlo went nuts when they showed Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
So I think that this could be a good time to reveal the cast, because 2025, the movies is currently in production. There's going to be a lot of things leaking from behind the scenes. People, shots in the movie industry.
Throwing shots.
When it comes to live action movies, things leak. Like in the sets, people in costumes. So they want to get ahead of it before anything. I mean, they've done a pretty good job at keeping it quiet. So hopefully, we get that reveal this direct.
It's a good point.
I think that's a good point. I'm going to disagree. I think they'll wait till after the Switch 2 direct because it'll just bury it. Bury it.
I also disagree. I actually think we're going to see Mario movie 2 stuff before we see the Zelda movie. And we got the big Mario anniversary coming up. I think the Zelda movie, I think it's going to be very ambitious, and I think it's a little bit farther out than some people think. And I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
You are right.
I think Mario, the Mario 2 movie makes a lot of sense.
Zelda movie drops this year, according to Mike Odyssey.
Cyber, you crashed, man. You crashed with that one. I've been following Wes Ball's trajectory, right? And then I put it upon myself to follow the pre-production stage all the way to when the film drops, right? He finished with Planet of the Apes, which was his last movie. And there's CGI, and there's also live action, and there's when you look at Planet of the Apes, there's even a castle in the movie, like a type of a castle kind of thing. So the overall kind of CGI versus live action that I expect to see in the Zelda movie, that kind of movie gives you a glimpse of his work, right? And so I remember him announcing the movie in 2023, and then the movie came out. 2022 at the end, Movie came out 2024. I think it was during summertime around that May. I think it was May. So it was like a year and a half total from all the way from announcement, pre-production, production to release. I'm following now the Man of Steel one with Superman, Man of Steel, Superman with James Gunn, right? Same thing. It's the same type of movie. And if you see the trailer, they have like this big dragon or this big kind of dinosaur or whatever, like just blowing fire at Superman while he's flowing. I don't know where that came from, but it's there, and that requires a lot of CGI work. Superman flying, a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then look at the time when they announced the Superman movie. When he first released that that little video for Superman and his future plans, pre-production, production, post-production. What are you guys laughing at? What are you typing behind the scenes? Are you talking about me?
No.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it was at about now a year and a half to 2 years from announcement before pre-production to release in theaters. So I remember animation takes 3 years. That takes a lot more time than a live action movie would, especially now with the new stages, LED stages that they have in Los Angeles, where they filmed the Mandalorian. Like a lot of the Mandalorian was filmed on stages nowadays, and they do the coloring there and everything, the lighting. So it's like you can't production for movies nowadays, even with these the cameras that capture your face, and all they got to do is just CGI a face on top of that, and that's how they did Planet of the Apes. If you look at the how they made it, they use live action people all throughout the movie, all throughout, and then they just turn them into apes in post production. So yeah, that's why I could see a movie being announced this year, and next year having 2 Nintendo movies. Remember, these are 2 studios, Sony and Illumination, and so they're competing companies. So they don't really, it's like Nintendo's involved, but still the studio releasing and promoting is Sony, and the studio releasing and promoting is Universal Illumination. I rest it.
You rest your case.
I rest it.
I think they don't say anything until summer.
Your Honor.
Don't really have any other case other than just I don't think they want the movie to get overshadowed by Switch 2.
Yeah, I don't think it will though. I don't think it will.
I don't think they want. I also don't think they want to spend time talking about a movie in the big Switch 2 Direct. I think they want that solely to be about Switch 2.
You're all wrong. Good. Bye.
Yeah. Tom Holland versus the Switch 2.
They also might just do a dedicated Zelda movie Direct later this year too. It's possible.
And that would be hype.
Because like for animation, it was a little different. You were just revealing the voice actors, right? You didn't have to show anything.
Yeah.
But these are not voice actors. These are like the actual characters. We're looking at them for the first time. So I kind of feel like you need to do more than just like say this person is Link and this person is Zelda. That person's like no, you need to show it. You need to show it.
And this movie's going to be
they're gonna
held under a much more critical lens as well than the animated Mario movie.
Listen. If they reveal the movie this Direct, we have to have this same exact panel next time, but everybody has to be dressed as Tingle, and I can be dressed as Link.
Tingle's my favorite Nintendo character of all time, so I'm in regardless.
All right,
I'll show up as Tingle regardless.
All right, I'm gonna hit.
I've got the spandex out back, so
Tingle costume being ordered.
We're trying to cast Tingle in the chat right now. Are you guys seeing this?
Yes, I see that.
H month throughout Joe Pesci.
I actually kind of like that.
I gotta do too.
Yeah, that's kind of works.
All right. So let's go on to our next topic, guys. And this is an interesting one. I actually saw some people like doing the SMH, just slapping my head over on Twitter and other places that this is even a topic. Guys, you guys know I'm hyped for Switch 2, right? Like this isn't nothing that we discussed today is going to destroy my hype for Switch 2. However, the topic is, are there any concerns for Switch 2? And I'm just going to bring up a couple that the general public and others have brought up. As an example, there is a self-proclaimed, because we can't verify, developer over on Reddit says that one of the concerns is essentially game installs. That Switch 2's cartridges aren't fast enough, And because of that, there's like 2 modes where you can read directly off a cartridge or read directly off the hard drive, which, by the way, that's also a mode on Switch 1. That's not actually new.
Yeah.
But it's basically where you could force a game to download off the cartridge onto the system, which would be new. Which is basically how every other platform works. PlayStation, Xbox, all the handheld PCs work that way. PC gaming's been that way forever. Even like when you had the disc back in the 90s and stuff, like you were installing the game. You didn't play it off the disc. Now the floppy drives, you did play it off the old floppy drives. That was a thing back in the day. But once we went to
I'll
CDs,
show you a floppy drive.
Oh jeez. He unmutes for that.
For
that comment.
That's what she said.
That's good. I think it was worth it.
So that is something that is being talked about as a possible concern. I think the concern would mostly just be that physical games aren't really physical anymore, which is what it's like on the other platforms. And it wouldn't even be for all the games, but for the games that force installs, like a lot of AAA games do that. And then the other concern is obviously storage at that point, because if you have to install these 50 gig, 60 gig, 100 gig games, your internal storage is going to be just as full as it was on Switch.
Yeah.
So those are obviously the concerns there. And then the other one, this is one that popped up literally the moment the trailer was revealed. The connection point for the Joy-Cons on the inside of the rails of the Switch. It's a little PCB sticking out. For some reason, everyone thinks that's a weak point and just going to snap off. Like it's going to be a very common problem, like as common as Joy-Con drift. And people are just going to snap that thing off. So those are the 2 brought up. So first off, are we worried about game installs? I have one note on game installs. I can't verify any information on this, but a very popular user over at Family Boards reached out to me privately and basically said, we don't know who that person is on Reddit, but they're full of shit. The Switch 2 cartridge speeds are like 8 times as fast as the Switch 1 cartridge speeds.
I saw that too.
And they said, but they're like, I can't tell you how we know, but we know the Switch 2 cartridge speeds are fast as shit. And this isn't a problem. And I'm like, okay. But that's the thing. It's a he said, she said situation. Quite literally. Because this claims to be a female developer and this is a male person. So literally, he said, she said. I don't know who to believe. I'll just say this. If there are forced installs, I said this in my video on it, I don't think it's a problem. Because bottom line is most AAA developers are grabbing the 8 gigabyte cartridges anyways and making us install 50 gigs of the game. Because that's what they were doing on Switch 1. NBA 2K, anyone? Anyone buy that on Switch? You download and install most of the game. There's like nothing on the cartridge. Yep. So I'm just saying that like it kind of just going to feel like Switch 1 did when people weren't using the right size cartridges. And guess what? Even with cheaper cartridges, let me tell you, very few are going to be using 32 and 64 gig cards, or even 128 if they're available. They're going to go with the cheapest possible cartridge and make you download and install most of it. So to me, it's like nothing really changed. But if you're worried about like Nintendo, I don't think Nintendo games are going to be a problem. I think all Nintendo games will play right off the cart. And they'll design their games specifically to run right off the cart. Might there be slightly faster load times on internal storage? Sure, that's true on Switch 1 as well. Load times are slightly faster. But I think Nintendo will design it with the cartridge in mind. So I'm not worried about Nintendo's games. AAA third parties were always going to make us do it anyways, even if this isn't true. So that's what I have to say on that part. We'll get to the snapping connector thing in a bit. Let's throw it over to Andrew, buddy. What are you thinking? Are you worried about game installs if this is true?
No, I'm not worried about any of this stuff. If anything Nintendo has taught me, it's that they're going to screw up the thing I least suspect. So they're going to screw up something. But like when the Switch came out, like I didn't know joysticks were going to be the biggest problem.
Right.
And yeah, I didn't know the eShop was going to be a mess. Yeah, I don't think it's any of these, but it's going to be something. Just hold on tight and
nothing's ever perfect. And,
yeah, like
it'll be something that we're not talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I literally cannot think of what it is, but I'm going to hate it, whatever it is. So that's my very specific prediction.
And it won't get fixed.
Eating and melting for some reason because they went with cheap.
And it won't get fixed. That is the truth. That's the only true thing.
I don't know about you guys, but
They'll
I've
never
been
admit it's a
suffering
problem. They'll never admit it's a problem, but then they'll have their tech services say, "Hey, screw your warranty. We'll fix it for free, the whole gen." But it's not a problem.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I've been suffering from a severe case of stick drift for 7-8 years now.
Are you sure? Only 7 or 8?
I'm not sure, but it's been a long, long time. Let me tell you.
That's what she said.
Too long.
Yeah. So, I mean, that brings up an additional concern that like they didn't fix the drift problems. They're using the same joysticks. I know there's a lot of rumors out there, mostly just Next Handheld being like, no, they're Hall Effect, and it's from a teardown. He like doubled down after reveal, and Next Handheld, those that don't know, he's the one that literally leaked all the images of Switch 2 and then got completely proven correct when Nintendo dropped the reveal. Like everything he said, it was right there. Now there's things he said obviously not proven yet, such as the Hall Effect, but he said it came afterwards when people were like, oh, you don't actually know if they're Hall Effects. Like, you wouldn't know from just touching it. And he's like, dude, we tore the thing down. They're Hall Effect. I'm like, oh, well, shit. I mean, I can't doubt them if they said they took it apart. Like if they took the damn thing apart, then yeah, they're Hall Effect sticks. I mean, you could easily tell when you take them apart. They're designed very different from traditional sticks. Anyways, but I do think like the sticks could still be a legit concern because we don't know for sure that they're using Hall Effect. And if they're not, and they're using the same old sticks, that's a problem. But I think it's the one faith I have is Nintendo is actually starting to lose lawsuits over the sticks. Like they're slowly losing and having to make payouts in other countries. So like I think Nintendo just lawsuits alone will be changing the sticks. It might not be Hall Effect, but it's going to be something that's not what Switch is.
Magnetic liquid that gets hard.
Well, I knew you were going to go with the magnetic liquid patent.
I mean, they lose money on. I bet they've lost a lot on shipping itself.
Okay,
I've shipped every single one of my controllers, and I didn't pay for any of that shipping. Like,
well, yeah, that's the thing. They started covering all of it, even though they don't admit it's a problem.
Yep.
What's the one time they publicly addressed it? They said that like all sticks drift, not just ours. It's like, oh well.
That's what I've been telling people.
That's not the point, Nintendo. Yours drift way more often than everybody else's. That's the problem. Yes, I've had Xbox controllers drift. I've had PlayStation. I've had your Pro controller drift. But the Joy-Cons are like a guarantee at some point. Like they're going to happen to almost everyone.
Yeah. I think that the issue there is that not only is it very comfortable to hold, but it's also drifting. So people are like, wait a minute, you know what? This I can't hold this too much because my hand hurts. And on top of that, it's drifting. Because if it were comfortable to hold, at least you'd be like, you know what? At least it's comfortable to hold. So but on top of that,
absolutely,
yeah. Can I respond to the cartridge thingy?
Yeah, go for it.
So, my friends, there's something called 2D NAND. Okay, 2D NAND is what we use now on Nintendo Switch. It's a technology that allows people to read stuff. And then there's another thing called 3D NAND, right? 3D NAND has a higher capacity storage. All right. So the versus 3D NAND. Okay, 2D NAND has a single layer of memory cells. I'm reading this because don't think I'm smart. I'm just reading it. 2D NAND has a single layer of memory cells, while 3D NAND has stack of cells on top of each other. Okay. You got me of here. Storage capacity. 3D NAND has a higher storage capacity to 2D NAND because it can store more cells. You know the stacky thingy I mentioned before.
Stack them. Yeah.
Yeah. So power consumption. 3D NAND consumes less power than 2D NAND. So it'll actually allow you to play games faster, right? I mean not faster, but more longer. 3D NAND is it has faster read speeds than 2D NAND as well, and also costs less than 2D NAND to produce. So, to that developer, I'm sorry, where did you go to school again? I would have to ask that question, or where did you learn how to read? So 2D NAND versus 3D NAND, you have to kind of separate both. We have newer technologies, just like people saying, how are we going to play games? How is it going to be faster? Well, not only is it going to read faster because of the 3D NANDs, but it's also going to read faster because the internal storage itself from the Nintendo Switch is also not a big giant hard drive from the 80s. It's M.2 drive, which is also a faster hard drive or drive that reads faster as well, and it writes and reads faster. It's like comparing the portable. Remember the hard drive that came in the Xbox, like the square one?
Yeah.
Computers, like the big giant thing that with the disc in the middle, right?
So they're technically just called hard disks, hard drives.
Yeah. So from hard disk, we went to SSD, and now we are in NAND.
NVMe, M.2, NAND.
Yeah. So the technology moves forward. It doesn't stay the same. So, I mean, that's my response to that one.
So obviously, just in defense of the developer, we don't know the cartridges use 3D NAND. It is a rumor and an assumption. We think they do, but we don't actually have any publicly fact-based evidence that they do. It's just an assumption. So just to defend them, what if it is still using the 2D NAND? What if it is, even though it makes no sense because it's more expensive?
But just the mere fact that 3D NAND holds more storage, more a higher capacity, and I think that developers would actually demand, hey, we got bigger games, we want to install in your little thingy there.
Still think you're gonna grab the smallest size available. Nintendo, just make the smallest size at least 16, if not 32 gigs, please, because if you drop 8 gigabyte ones, that's what they're all going to use. They're going to buy the cheapest things possible and make us download the rest, regardless of it being 2D or 3D or fast enough, right? That's just what it's going to be. But that's up to Nintendo, whatever they want to make the standard smallest size be. Maybe they do decide it's going to be 16 or 24 or 32 or something. The biggest thing, of course, is that 3D NAND is faster. It has a slightly different pin layout than 2D NAND, but it can... 2D NAND can be read by a 3D NAND one. That's why they can use the same cartridge slot.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, did they use it? Did they not use it? Obviously, the fact that this person talking to me is like, look, I could tell you how I know, but then you can't talk about it. And I've been watching your podcast and you told me you're tired of knowing things you can't talk about. So I'm just not going to tell you so you can talk about it. And then Mike brought up the 3D NAND because that's what I was going to bring up. I was like, I mean, this has been talked about for a while that it's 3D NAND. But yeah, even if there are installs, I don't know how it's different than right now. I got to go to Thunderset. He's laughing every time I bring that up because how those AAA third parties on Switch, man, huh? How those working for installs? Oh,
yeah. You know what? Personally, I think none of this is a big deal.
There we go.
Yeah, this is nothing. This is what people talk about when they don't know what to talk about.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, this is not a big deal. So they're saying that the big major inconvenience here is that we're gonna have to install these games onto the actual Switch or onto our additional storage that we put on the Switch. That's the big deal, right? Not missing anything?
Pretty much. Like that's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that people would complain about this. Get the F out of here. That's so stupid. This is so stupid. This is classic internet bullshit.
Half of consumers are going to be buying digitally anyways, so like they weren't even thinking about this.
They are. And you know what? I'm buying an SD Express same day. I'll throw it on there. I don't care. And again, yeah, we've been doing this already. If you own other consoles, this is how it works. You know what I mean? Like when I install a game, I usually need to go do something else for a while. I don't just sit there and wait. You know, I'll do something. I'll work. I'll clean the house. I'll go to the gym. There's so many things you can do. There's so many things in life that are available to us to do that are both of leisure and of work that we can go do. This is not a big deal. What is a waste of time is getting on the internet and complaining about it, though. Yeah. That is the biggest waste of time ever. So, people who complain about that, man, go chip away at your backlog, okay? And just get ready for Switch 2 because you're still going to buy it. That's how I feel about it.
I don't want to have to buy an expansion. Guess what? People are buying M.2s for PS5. People are buying expansion cards on Xbox. And you've been buying SD cards on your Switch for years. Enough.
Yeah, go mow some lawns.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's a non-issue. We've been doing this forever on other platforms. Like you said, anytime I buy a game for my PS5, I have to make a sacrifice. Which game am I going to sacrifice from the console storage so I can make room for this new game?
Especially if it's a Rockstar game. Rockstar
Yeah.
Games, man.
Jeez,
Rockstar
yeah.
or
You
Call
have
of
to
Duty.
sacrifice
Yeah.
all your games for that.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, welcome. That'll be interesting to see everyone complain that's new to this.
Oh
How
man,
funny will that be?
half my internal storage. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah,
That's what Call of Duty does.
Right.
you
And
want
the
to deal
other
with an
thing-
upgrade.
And the other thing is, you guys both mentioned this, or maybe just you mentioned this, Nate. Nintendo, they're masters of compression. They're going to make sure they're
Yeah, I'm not worried
big.
about Nintendo games.
Yeah, they're big games, which is the core reason why most people are buying a Switch. Granted, I do think more people will be playing third-party games on Switch 2 than the Switch. Obviously, there's going to be a bigger library of those, given the system's going to be a lot more capable and be able to run those games with less compromise or sacrifice. But that being said, I don't see it being any more of an issue than it already is on PS5 or Xbox.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. People are just being babies right now. They just need to get over it and go clean their room, go do something, go help somebody. There's a million things in life you can go do. Go to the park, go for a walk,
That's a good segue for our sponsor, Share Skill. Or
go
Share
to the
Skill.
grocery store.
Skillshare. You got the sponsor wrong. We don't have a sponsor for this.
Go to the Share Skills. Share
We'll
Skill-
take sponsors, but there's no sponsors.
Skill Share, and then there's something.
Well, hey, let's talk about that other complaint too.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, for real, seriously.
Because
This is the one that this is like on all social media. There's like an image that someone drew in Japan of like snapping off the connector. I'm not going to go first on this one. Dude,
I'll step in.
Eric, here we go.
I think that's a non-issue. Look at USBs. You look at the internal port of a USB. There is a little thing that sticks out. You don't see those breaking off all willy-nilly.
You have to reef and really try to break it.
And these things are going to be recessed, and they're not going to be sticking out. I mean, you're going to have to try to break these things. I have a feeling. Or the only way that I could see maybe is if you go to put your thing in there and you have it just even slightly cockeyed. But I doubt that. I doubt it just because of the fact that it's just going to be literally a tight fit.
And the way the renders made it look, they intend for you to be able to put it in cockeyed. Like they were going bottom in.
Yeah.
Like they were just snapping it in. So I'm not really that concerned about this like at all. For starters, I've been in motherboard manufacturing before, and I know how strong these things are. You have to try to intentionally break this kind of stuff. This is a very thick PCB sticking out inside and recessed, so it's not going to accidentally bump it. You could drop your Switch; it's not going to accidentally do anything to it. And I think it's just because somebody on day one, just to get a bunch of shares, is going to take a pair of pliers and snap it. They're going to break it.
Yeah.
And they're going to post it on social media and say, what a piece of shit.
Yep, they are.
It's going to happen.
You
Because
really think someone would do that? Go on the internet and tell lies?
What?
Famous words of Buster from Arthur.
Yeah. So, like, I know how rigid these things are. Almost every single cord and port we use in the world works exactly like this and isn't a problem. And in addition, like, they talked about, it's going to be like if you bend your Joy-Cons. Why are you bending? First off, why are you doing that with your Joy-Cons? We just talked about that. What the fuck are you doing? Maybe a kid, but even then, these Joy-Cons look like they're recessed in like a quarter of an inch. Like they're deep in there. This ain't the little flimsy rails of Switch 1. They are really in there, and there's magnets helping as well. So much so that you could probably rip them out, because of course you can. You could rip them off the rails without pushing the button. Yeah, you could probably rip them out, but it's going to take some force, and that's why they have a mechanical mechanism Nintendo showed that you actually have to apply some force to get them to easy disconnect. Because Nintendo intentionally made this extremely difficult. This is, for those who don't know, the guy who designed the hardware, Koizumi, he already talked about this many, like back in 2017 doing interviews, how they originally were trying to do a magnet style design. They wanted to slap together and to make it work. But they were having an issue at the time because I think they were just using normal magnets on electric ones, where sometimes you'd be holding your switch and they would just fall out. Okay, yeah, fair. Using normal magnets, that can happen because you don't want normal magnets that are like cow magnets and too strong, because then you're harming the internal components. So at the time, they probably weren't even thinking about electromagnets. And then after Switch came out and they were starting to think about the next one, they realized, hey, we can use electromagnets, which we can direct where the magnetism goes away from the components we don't want it to hit, like the storage and stuff. And it actually could be a very, very strong connection. And on top of that, this connection is now reinforced by the fact you're physically inserting it into something, which then makes it also more rigid and it's deeper in. Like, it's going to be very hard to bend it like this and snap them. Is someone going to grab their Switch, reefing on it like this? Yeah, They'll try to do it to prove a point, of course. And as the point's being proven that they're basically using a fucking crowbar to break it, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty damn durable. If you gotta go to the lengths of intentionally reefing on it to break it, then it's not a problem. That's not a normal use case. Even a kid ain't gonna do that to it. Kids might chuck it around the room. They might throw it at your TV and break your TV. But I guarantee you this thing will probably survive. So I'm really, really not concerned about it. Also, one thing to remember about this device that I think a lot of people forget with Switch is, according to Nintendo, Switch's primary audience is all adults. Like 95% adults. It's insane. And then you look at how they revealed Switch 2. That design looks sleek, right? It looks like modern. It looks like something an adult would want to carry around. Because again, Nintendo's targeting adults again first. And adults take better care of their shit. So in the end, yeah, will there be what about kids? Yeah, there'll be a light version where they don't detach. That's going to be your kid model, just like for Switch. But they ain't targeting kids right away. Kids ain't going out and dropping $400 plus $70 for a game and $100 for a new controller because they want the Pro Controller for the TV mode and other money. Like, think about it. A lot of people are going to be spending like $600-700 on launch to get games and accessories and stuff. They ain't kids. Nintendo's not targeting kids right now. And I know we thought, Mario Kart. Yeah, Mario Kart hits on everyone, not just kids. It's not just kids. I hope they have voice lobbies. So I can go into a Mario Kart game and realize, oh my God, dude, I'm just hanging with a bunch of 30-year-olds drinking beer right now. What are we doing? I thought this was supposed to be a Call of Duty lobby. I was getting ready for you to say obscene things about my mama. And instead you're like, shit, man, dude, nice fucking race. You want to do a shot together? Fuck yeah. Then again, if I drop F-bombs in the chat, Nintendo might come in and be like, shut the whole thing down. Depends on how much they moderate it. But no, I seriously think that people forget that they're targeting adults, and this is already going to be something that's been tested and is very hard to break. And I just, if something looks so obvious that you think it's a problem, then it's probably not. As Andrew brought up earlier, it's going to be something we're not thinking about, something we don't notice. As an example, one of the issues at launch, and this was only at launch for one of the first runs of the Switch, is some of the docks were slightly bent. And because they were, people who played docked mode only, as the Switch heat up, it would start molding to the dock. And then we had the bend gate situation in the first month, where one run of those docks was bent and they were physically making your Switches smile a little bit. That's something no one was even thinking about.
Not a bad thing.
When they revealed Switch.
But it just
happened. So because I'm happy. And it didn't even affect whether the Switch worked or not or anything. But it was, it's kind of annoying. Your brand new electronic has a little smile in it after a month and you never took it out the dock. What the fuck? Well, that's why, because you didn't take it out the dock. And now that you did, the dock is bent? What the fuck? Yeah, get your warranty claim in, obviously. But yeah, so it's going to be something like that. There's going to be something we're not thinking about. Something that's so obvious like this is like, come on, Nintendo knows. They wouldn't have put that in there if it was just, you could just, just crack it off. I bet you can't even put your fingers in there and snap it off.
Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts when I saw everyone kind of freaking out about this. I'm like, man, if it's something that at a glance, your first time seeing it, that everyone's freaking out, oh my gosh, that's a breaking point. That's, that looks super fragile. That's going to break. At a glance, first impressions of it, everyone's noticing that. Surely Nintendo has the foresight to be like, hey, we got to build this in a way to where this isn't going to be super fragile and break off. and have the R&D to do so. The only thing, and out of complete ignorance, because I don't know enough about tech to make an assumption, but as someone who doesn't know this stuff, I'd actually be more concerned about wear and tear on it than the piece actually breaking.
Sure.
And I don't even know if that would be a possibility where wear and tear. I know we had cartridges that we used for years and put in our consoles.
Cables we charge our phones with.
But I know, like with the Switch, there was another issue early on. If you didn't have a screen protector, the dock would scrape.
Oh, the dock scratching.
And it's superficial. You know, it doesn't affect the performance at all. And if you've got a screen protector, you don't have to worry at all about that. But yeah, I feel like
like 2 months later,
breaking is a non-issue, and if anything, it would be like Andrew and you said, Nate, something that we're not thinking of, whether it's wear and tear with that piece or something else entirely that just seems to have some sort of a long-term defect or whatever.
Yes. Is anyone actually concerned about this?
Nope. I mean, I'm not. Okay, first thing I want to point out there is that Nintendo made a close-up on that little area so you can see it. So it's not actually that big, people. It's just the perception of the trailer, so you can notice how there's a connector there where the Switch makes.
Like this top of this tab might even be bigger than that is.
That's too big.
Too big.
You know, I'm like, and the other thing is that, like everybody has been mentioning, you know, with just like USB-C ports and drives and stuff, it's not that out. So even if you try to put your fingers like that, your fingers can't fit in there to try and get and even touch the thing. So it'll be thinner than a Joy-Con. It literally will be thinner than a Joy-Con because the connecting part is concave. It's thinner than the Joy-Con. Yeah, I mean,
you know it's going to be small.
Go in there, but not you.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Oh, what's that?
If anybody, okay, let me ask something first. Does anybody have a 3D printer?
I do.
Okay, let's start a business. We're gonna make a protective shell to go over the PCB, and we're gonna sell it to all these people that are so worried and concerned. What do you think? Just make a little Etsy store.
Yeah, do it.
It's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be losing their shit about it. Let's sell it to them.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I think that's a good business plan.
You're scared? They have these things. Do I have it over here? No, I put it away. On my Switch, I have that's broken for parts. I have these things on it called the razor blades, and they cover up the edges of the Switch. There's just like a wood cover for it. Like, yeah, just 3D print like a cover like that for. Oh, I'm so worried when I disconnect my Joy-Con, someone's gonna come in and like zap themselves on it or something. Like, don't worry about it. We got you for $29.99 on the Etsy store.
5 payments of $29.99.
5 payments. There you go. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. So, all right. So since neither one of these things I think are like actual concerns that we have, these are just concerns brought up by the internet at large. Are there any concerns that we do have that people aren't talking about?
Price point. We can talk about that, right? I mean,
I'm not concerned about it. Are you?
I'm not concerned personally. I'm just like concerned generally for the general consumer. You know what I mean? For the person who needs to buy, who let's say, I know I have 4 Nintendo Switches in my house. Each of my daughters have one. I have one.
Sure.
I bought my wife one. She hasn't even touched it yet. It's brand new, so I'm probably gonna give it away. And so for family members because Nintendo Switch is normally it's a handheld console, right? And it's meant so that multiple people in your home own one. That's how Nintendo kind of pushes it, so that, you know, my daughter can't have one, and then my other daughter can't have one, because when they're playing the handheld mode, there's only one person playing. You know, there's only a one device. Yeah. So I think a good price point would be $350 to $499. Can't be higher than that in order for Nintendo to kind of target. And I think that they can do it and still make a profit. So I think that I mean, you said, is there any worry? I mean, that's a better worry than that little thingy breaking off, you know? But yeah, I think price point will be a good thing to worry about. Make sure that everybody in the house can afford one, because I know I can't afford a $500 system, and if my daughters want to buy one for themselves to play Animal Crossing, the new one that comes out, I can't spend $2,000 on two systems.
Well, no, I mean, look, everyone in my house has one, but they didn't get them all at launch. Like, it was over the years. You know what I mean? So, like, my kids aren't going to have Switch 2s for a while. Like, that's just reality. They're just not going. I'll probably wait for the light version to come out. 'Cause I think it's better for them, more durable. They, like, literally only ever play in handheld. Like, my son has a regular Switch.
Yeah.
Why? He only ever plays in handheld. He doesn't need the dot mode. But my wife, she loves dot mode. So, like, she also says she doesn't want it at launch. And then when I said, well, I'm going to have it, and she's like, does Fortnite play better on it? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I guarantee it plays better on it. And she's like,
yeah.
Well, then maybe I want one. Like, okay, so you're going to get one at launch. I got it. You're my wife. You get what you want. But no, so, like, for me, an actual concern I have, I'm not concerned about the joysticks. I think they've done something about it because they didn't want to avoid the lawsuits. I've accepted digital triggers. That's just the way Nintendo is. They're not doing analog. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I expect it. The D-pad being split again, expected. We already saw it split again. It is what it is. It's for 2-controller play. I understand. None of those are concerns. My concern is twofold. I got two concerns. They don't update the eShop.
Oh my god!
Because it's the same eShop on both consoles. I guarantee it's the same eShop on both consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the Switch 1 games will be in the Switch 2 eShop because they're still going to do this stupid web page bullshit.
Yeah.
And my concern is that they don't actually have an updated version of that specifically for Switch 2 that's better, runs quicker, has game suggestions and all. Like, I have a huge concern that we're going to deal with another exact same shitty eShop that runs a little bit faster, but in reality is still trash even when it does run. Like, it's not good even when it works. That's the thing. Like, it's just not a good shop. And that's a huge concern I have, is that Nintendo maybe didn't focus on revamping that shop because they didn't really do it the entire generation. So why now, right? Like, they're so successful. Hey, why fix what ain't broke? Well, it's fucking broke. You might get more digital sales if you had a good eShop. And then the other concern I have is tangential. It's I'm just with Nintendo, anything online always bugs me slightly. Like with Nintendo, something always feels off with their online offerings. And I don't know what it's going to be this time. Like, maybe they offer voice chat and messaging and it's only with your friends, which is the way it should be, probably, just to keep things safe so strangers can't be texting kids and stuff. I'm like, but like, there'll be some Nintendo-ness to it that makes it really weird. Like, as an example, if I message Andrew and I'm like, hey Andrew, man, you want to play some Mario Kart tonight, dude? I'm gonna have a beer with some buddies and we're gonna make this whole thing out of it. And because I put the word beer in a message, I'm banned from messaging people forever. Something weird like that, which is like over policing of private conversations.
Yeah.
I'm worried about something like that. Or if it's not that, maybe it's something to do with online servers. That's always a constant complaint from Nintendo fans with online servers. Most of that's because it's peer-to-peer, and it's peer-to-peer with people globally. Like, go play your Mario Kart. You're playing against people in Japan as well. Like, this is what's going to happen. Play Splatoon. You're playing against people all over the world. There are issues with regional as well, but maybe that's what it's going to be. It's just something like that. Like, I'm not concerned. Like, they have the exact same OS as Switch 1. I'm not even bothered by that. But those two things are like, man, those things need to be. If you're going to go more into the online, more into the social, it needs to be done right. I don't trust Nintendo to do it right. And then with the eShop, that's the huge thing. I hate the eShop. I never use the eShop. I use their website. Their website's not much better, just to be honest. It's not any better, really. It just loads quicker.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I would love to see Nintendo, other than the eShop, like, do something with. I know the UI is a big thing for Nintendo Switch. We all want a better UI, better looking one, right? But sure. I would love for them to during the entire life of the Nintendo Switch, they release these what I call empty updates, right? It's like, okay, you're supposed to be you should get excited about an update. When we get an update on iOS on the phone, right? It comes with a new feature, it comes with something new, like, oh wow, looks good. Oh, something new, right? I would love for them to take updates for Nintendo Switch and then gradually add upgrades or updates to the system itself, right? So that we can say, oh, this updates will bring this with it, and you guys will be able to do this and this and this and this, and then the following update, just like you do with the game DLC, but for the actual OS system of the Nintendo Switch, bring updates that will allow you to add wallpapers to your walls, like over time. I know people want wallpapers now, but maybe the next update will allow you to do that, or the next update will allow you to trade wallpapers or add your own or whatever. Just do something to the Switch via updates, right? Instead of just kind of update 15.1.0 bug fixes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at least every number update adds something spicy to the system that will make you excited to go ahead and update your system and kind of enjoy it.
All right. Anyone else have any actual concerns, or are we just gonna chill and see what happens?
I'm not
Mike, you don't
concerned
like
about anything.
improved stability?
I do love it.
Just I know I'm just teasing. Sorry, Thunder.
No, you're good.
You're fine. Because I worked for Apple for 10 years, and that's one thing that I kind of loved about it, that whenever you got an iOS update, 15, 16, 17, 18, it came with these cool features or updates that kind of made you excited. Of course, they went ahead and put all the stability updates underneath, but they gave you a layer of excitement on top so that you are kind of motivated to update your system. Although it does update automatically, so I guess they don't need it.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Wait, was Thunder gonna say something? I kind of interrupted there.
Might have been.
I was gonna say there's a fix for everything.
Yeah.
For all these things, right? For the games installing on the Switch, the fix is to walk away.
Okay.
Right? For the PCB, the fix is to be careful with your system and treat your electronics carefully, like you're supposed to, like we were all taught in the 80s and 90s, right? Because what did our parents say? If you break it, we're not buying another one. Right? That's how it was. That's how it was. So you know what? Just be firm about it. But there's just to fix all these things. The eShop sucks. It's horrible. It's a horrible shopping experience. If the eShop, could you imagine if the eShop was an actual retail store?
Oh my
How
God.
long would you stay in that store?
It exists. It's called Walmart.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just saying that in chat. When I go to Walmart and I need a game, I swear to you, half the time I end up getting on my phone and calling Walmart.
Yeah.
While I'm in the store, I'm like, hey, can you send someone over to the video game department with the keys? I've been over here for 20 minutes. I just need to get my game and be on my way. Well, you're here right now? Yes, I'm here right now. I'm calling you from the store. Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
The little button doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah. We don't have a button. We don't
Thankfully,
have one at ours.
At our local one, there's almost always at least one person in electronics to ask. But I know not every Walmart's that way. I've been to Walmart where there's like nobody there. No.
It's not. And Target, the only people that are in the electronics section are people who are trying to sell me long distance minutes.
That's true. That's true. They got my wife.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? Is this the 90s, the 2000s?
I got AT&T over Christmas because of it.
Yeah, they're trying to sell me MCI long distance minutes, trying to sell me collect cards.
Yeah.
But for real, what's the fix though for the eShop? The fix I found, the workaround is just go online.
AI is the fix.
Go to the Nintendo eShop online and just find the game you want.
Add a personal assistant, an AI personal assistant.
Yeah. There's a fix for everything.
Yeah.
You just have to fix your perspective.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our next topic.
Real quick, sorry. I do have two concerns.
Oh, sure.
That I wanted to jump in with. I'll be real quick with them, so we can go to the next topic. One you already covered: voice chat, messaging, that sort of thing. I hope we're not stuck on the Nintendo app again. I really want them to dive into some sort of dedicated chat, even if it's just with your friends, to where I don't need an additional device to do it, especially not the current app that we have. That's terrible. And then the second one, which might be a complete non-issue, but it's one that I've been concerned about since before we had any sort of look, or even before a lot of the leaks or rumors started to flood in. And that's just power and performance. And when I say that, I'm not someone who cares about like best graphics, most powerful hardware. I could give a crap about that sort of stuff. I hate the power chasing stuff, but I do really want the Switch 2 to be powerful enough to run third-party ports without some sort of an apology. I want to be able to play games like Hogwarts or Mortal Kombat without that Vaseline look on the screen. And, according to some of the rumors and people who have come out and spoken about it, they're saying it's going to run third-party fine, that it's impressive. But I got to see that. You could give me all the leaks and rumors in the world. I need to see it in play. Seeing is going to be believing, and I will be so happy because the Nintendo's my place to play. It's my favorite place to play, and there's so many third-party games that I would have waited for the Switch version or played again on the Switch just to have that hybrid nature that I didn't, just because the performance or the texture quality was so muddy. I'm not going to play Witcher 3 on the Switch. I'm going to play it on my PlayStation. I'm not going to play, as impressive as the Doom remake or the Doom port was on Switch, which it actually looks really good, to be honest. I'm still going to play it on more powerful hardware just so I have those nice, clean textures. I want that. I want that kind of Series Series S experience on the Switch too. I will be so happy. But
we'll see. That proof will be in the pudding on that one. Before we move on to our next topic, I look. I love this super chat because soon, this is a sports reference that obviously I know Stash gets this.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's like the only thing I'm looking forward to when I turn 40 is I'm going to do a birthday stream. It's going to be like the first thing I say.
That's so funny.
That's
That's classic.
How many people in the chat get the reference?
I've been a man for 3 years now.
It's one of the best press conferences for sure.
Dude, it so is. You guys will ever watch that whole press conference? It's intense. There's a reason it's intense, but man, that coach goes off on the media. It's great. Anyways, all right, let's go ahead. Get to our next topic. We'll have Stash lead this one since Eric's still working on that list over there.
I'm getting close.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
Perfect. So Stash, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. So I was actually talking about this on Twitter today. It was interesting. Nate posted it, and I said I think this is worth a bookmark. Quite frankly, it's not much. It's just a bookmark, just so I can come back to it in case anything comes to fruition. How serious am I taking it? I don't know. But the idea of it is very interesting. And if you guys are familiar with Newegg.
Yeah.
I bought all my components from them back 10 years ago when I still built one of my PCs. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were selling, and I'm actually gonna pull up I want to get the tweet pulled up too, but they're selling a Nintendo gift card.
Oh, yeah.
Just your standard gift card.
Mm-hmm.
And in the actual text message, they're like, hey, in 2025, Nintendo's releasing a 3D Mario, Pokemon, Za. What else was on there? It was all the games we know. Mario Kart.
Yeah, Metro Prime 4.
Metro Prime 4. Yeah, thanks, Nate.
Xenoblade.
Okay. Now, as I was saying in chat too, as you can see there, certainly worth a bookmark there in the bottom right.
Yeah.
But we're kind of chatting back and forth about it. There's one game that stands out quite clearly, actually. And there's one game on that list that we're not aware of, and that's a Legend of Zelda remake or remaster. It says remake/remaster
Mm-hmm.
for 2025.
Yep.
And again, none of us,
There you go.
that is not an active rumor.
Thank you, Nate.
That's brand new. So all these other games though are for sure. Now, here's the kicker. Okay?
Kick it.
Is that Newegg updated the post. They
Mhm.
updated the listing and they removed all of these games, right? Except for Mario, I think, except for what? Metroid Prime and Pokemon
Yeah.
I think they left Xenoblade too.
and Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Okay. So they removed the other games, which, as we know, dude, that's a classic backpedal.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yep.
hard. Like for you to do that, it's very likely there's some truth there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they just didn't think the internet would see this or what, but it's very clear that the thing that sticks out is Zelda, because we know about the rest. So with that said, I mean, what do we think about a Zelda remake or remaster? Okay. And I will say this too. It was in my message I had sent to him, but I mentioned that I was chatting with someone and they said, Breath of the Wild, right? And it's like, yeah, but what if that's part of like a broader strategy?
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. 4K is in the code. Okay. I expect it to run in 4K.
Yeah.
On Switch 2. I do. I truly expect it. Now, do I expect them to update the box art and slap a remaster on the label? Now it's remastered twice?
No.
No, absolutely not. Breath of the Wild. Do I expect them to say it's remastered now? No, actually, I really don't. I don't expect that. I expect that to be a perk and a major selling point of the Switch 2. And I think we'll find out more on April 2nd. I think that's part of the magic. But
Yeah.
4K 60, Breath of the Wild, I expect this to happen. So in my mind, Breath of the Wild is ruled out as one of the remake remasters.
Agreed.
Okay, good. So we're all on the same page. What does that give us, guys? I mean, what 3D games are remaining, and you also know what 2D games could be. But I don't know. Do you think the Switch 2's first Zelda game is going to be a 2D remake?
No.
I feel like they want to make it a 3D one.
So can I take this one?
Yeah, take over now. Let's hear it.
Just because this is the other part of my answer. Remember saying it?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
So that's why I said Wind Waker, Nintendo Switch. Why? You really can't do much with Wind Waker because of the art style. I think HD is as good as it can get. Of course, when it gets to a Nintendo Switch 2, then the hardware will do the rest, right? It'll do the rest, pick up, and it'll look beautiful. But the game that could get a remaster, just like they did with Metro Prime 1 Prime Remaster, right? Meaning they take the assets, they throw them out the door, they bring new assets into the same engine to make it look crisper, nicer, better, is Twilight Princess. Okay? So if it's not that they want to do a Twilight Princess, they keep them like a bundle. They want to bring, I feel they're going to take Metroid Prime, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Nintendo Switch HD, Twilight Princess. They're going to remaster the heck out of it and then put it on Nintendo Switch 2. That one has the most potential of looking better and really highlighting the new graphics of the new system and the power of the new system. I hear a lot of people saying, well, that game looks, the Twilight Princess looks beautiful with the wolf and everything and all the whatever. Imagine that not remake, remastered. I don't think it's a remake, it's a remaster, right? And so, yeah, to me, that's the Zelda one they're talking about. I think it's Twilight Princess remaster on Nintendo Switch 2 in 4.5K resolution.
So you think it's just is just resolution? Are we're gonna get 60 FPS?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna use the game at least at the beginning because until they release the new, like, think about it. What other game right now, besides Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, what other 3D game could they work on to really enhance and show the power of the Switch 2 on, right? Twilight Princess. I mean, the other one is what's the other one? I just beat it.
Wind Waker.
Skyward Sword, right? I just beat that game. That game looks fantastic on Nintendo Switch, right? Skyward Sword is about what, 2-3 years old only, right?
2021.
Yeah. Are you looking for a remaster or a remake, Nate? Remaster? Well, you're a Zelda guy. Go ahead.
So look, obviously, they were talking about games this year. I think there's only one Zelda remake or remaster coming regardless. I don't think there's one per platform.
You mean like Ocarina of Time?
So if it's Wind Waker, then it's just going to be Wind Waker. That'll be the only thing we get this year for Zelda.
Yeah.
But if it is Switch 2, as Game Boy Classic keeps holding up, Ocarina of Time, that needs it more than Twilight Princess does. And the thing with Ocarina of Time, I know it was redone on 3DS, is that it's never been in HD. Okay, let's start with that. It's never been in HD. You have to do that before you can do Majora's Mask. And the other thing is, and I'm not going to go over all of this. I have multiple videos on my channel about this. Andres Restart does as well. Aonuma's kind of been teasing Ocarina of Time for years now, which is very similar to how he's teased every other remake and remaster they've done. So, it seems like something is in the works. Whether or not it's this year, that is an unknown. It could be something that's more closer to when the Zelda movie comes out next year, the year after. That could be maybe the plan for it as a big between. Because I know Nintendo. Nintendo saw what Zelda did on Switch. They're going to want some big 3D remake early years of Switch 1.
Yeah.
So the new 3D Zelda is going to be a little bit off. They're going to want something.
Yeah.
And so I think an Ocarina of Time is the second best, or well, the fourth best selling Zelda game of all time. It used to be second best before Breath of the Wild. And it was only behind Twilight Princess, which took a console selling 100 million units to beat it.
Okay.
It was the best selling on just the N64 with a 35 million install base. Crazy. So Ocarina of Time has never been in the mass audience before. And it's an all-time classic. And it's got all that. Imagine all that music redone, fully orchestrated by Nintendo. How glorious that would be. The atmospheric nature of all the dungeons and how great those dungeons are. Like being able to maybe even expand a little bit on some little aspects here and there. Like there's like a part of the Hyrule map that feels like there was supposed to be something there, but it got cut at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe they fill that out and add in like a little bit extra bonus content. Obviously, there's all the stuff with the master modes. Maybe we get the true originally intended master mode instead of what they ended up doing on 3DS. And so like there's a whole bunch of stuff they could do with that. And I know it's an all-time classic, and you got to be really careful when you take literally the highest rated video game of all time. You got to be a little careful when you grab that and remake it, because you can't screw that up. This can't be something that you fully outsource.
Yeah.
Nintendo would have to be hands-on. You can have a company help like Bandai Namco or something, but you're going to have your team involved on it to make sure it's done right. And I think Nintendo has extra incentive because they saw Final Fantasy VII Remake go first.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and look at the Resident Evil remakes and how
Evil remakes as well. Look what they're doing.
And man, this one's a little bit more. I'm with you, Nate. I feel like Ocarina is the game for this. You know, before Breath of the Wild hit the scene, and I know Twilight Princess sold better than Ocarina of Time, but before Breath of the Wild hit the scene, Ocarina of Time was the standard for Zelda fans. A lot of them loved Twilight Princess. Not everyone. There's a lot of people who don't like Twilight Princess very much. Ocarina is universally, for the most part, loved and revered as one of the most iconic or influential games ever made.
One of the coolest moments in gaming, going from child to adult.
Like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Imagine a whole generation that's never experienced that. Oh,
And being lucky to experience that with the jump of, I mean, I think A Link to the Past is a perfect game as well.
So do I.
But seeing that jump into the 3D world with a mount and stuff and riding horseback across this 3D plane, the game's just wild.
It's a core memory.
So,
Yeah.
Thunderstash, I need that shirt. Second, because it said remaster remake, right? That post. I went on the side of a remaster, right? So if remaster, of course, I don't see Ocarina of Time remastered.
No, they gotta remake that.
So if that's a game, they have to Final Fantasy it. You know what I mean? Like they have to really from a ground up, brand new game, expand the world. Make it bigger than it is. You know what I mean?
And they would be quicker to make than their new open world games. I don't think it would go full open world. I think they'd stick with the linearity.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll let you do some of the dungeons a little out of order because you already could sort of do that, even though you were kind of glitching. But
they need to do it like Capcom did for RE, where they didn't fully reimagine the games. It's debate. Obviously, a lot of people have complaints about RE3 remake, but keep the essence of what the game is and just improve it, make it beautiful, improve the voice acting performances, update the story a little bit to be a little bit more meaty and substantial.
Sure.
And Zelda's a lot bigger now. The Switch has made Zelda. It's expanded its audience greatly. Maybe that means, I know this sounds unlikely, but maybe they do a Ocarina of Time remake. It's really successful. They're like, hey, Capcom's had success. Let's do Majora's Mask now. That sounds a little bit far-fetched, but you never know.
Well, once Ocarina of Time is done, I think Majora's Mask is just that next natural. It might be later in the gen. It might be after.
But what if
I will die?
What if it's
a glorious remake of that?
What if it's a DLC addition to it, like a story add-on to it, and
They could do that.
One thing I can see them doing, one reason why I can see them going with Ocarina of Time remake is because maybe in the live action movie of Zelda, they'll probably have a version of Link as a child, and they want to go ahead and kind of maybe go somewhere within the line of Ocarina of Time for the story, and so they want people to have some kind of, for at least new fans of the Legend of Zelda in the modern era, has some type of familiarity with the franchise when they showed it in the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that were popularized with Ocarina of Time that sure we know today. But like I sat there as we were playing Tears of the Kingdom. I was playing it on live stream, and you meet Rauru, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm like, oh guys, you have no idea what this calls back to. And like people in the chat were like, who the fuck is Rauru? I'm like, oh my god, people don't even know what this is a reference to. Like the importance of that name in Zelda, you don't even know. So like, I was a lot of younger fans like just got into Zelda with Breath of the Wild, or even adults that didn't get into Zelda till Breath of the Wild that just don't even know the rich history. And like Ocarina of Time is one of those games that's full of that rich history with some of these core characters to the series.
Yep.
They're
so good.
So like
bosses are memorable.
Yeah. Like it's, by the way, obviously there's some hopium. I'm hoping that that's the one they do. I think Wind Waker is probably the most likely this year, but they're still kind of like, hey, I can't dismiss the fact that Aonuma has been teasing this in the same way. He literally was asked directly about it in an interview, and he wouldn't deny it.
We can't rule out that a lot of the games that they mentioned in the April Direct will be for 2026 too. So maybe we get we get some type of a teaser trailer, and then that's a 2026 game.
Well, I mean, as an example, like some people think the 3D Mario game, which, by the way, we haven't really talked about because it's technically not announced. We just assume it's coming because it's been forever.
Yeah.
Some people think that might come out closer to the Mario movie, which would then make it 2026. But I don't think anybody thinks it won't be shown this year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, like, some of the stuff in that April stuff might be the whole first year roadmap, the first 12 months. Mm-hmm. So we might have stuff all the way up till June next year, which is totally fine, by the way. I like when Nintendo gives us the long roadmap. Because there's going to be future directs still. They're going to give us even more. Third parties are going to be making announcements like crazy. I mean, look, Summer Game Fest this year, Switch 2 logos are going to be everywhere. Like we've been streaming Summer Game Fest on my channel every year. Imagine how exciting it's going to be this year when like Switch 2 logos are on like every goddamn trailer.
Hey, it can start tomorrow at the Xbox presentation.
Yeah, could be as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah,
might see our first Switch 2 logo on a third-party trailer.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Can I pitch something real quick?
Pitch it.
This is what I envision if we get that Ocarina of Time remake for Switch 2 as the perfect tease, end of direct tease for this game. We have one more announcement. Screen's black. You start hearing the sound of horse hooves. Then the piano kicks in, and it's just like 10 seconds of that opening screen in beautiful HD 4K ray tracing with gorgeous piano, and it'll say Ocarina of Time remake coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. That's all they need to show to get the welled up eyes, nostalgia, and just
Zelda fans the world over would be pausing the direct and being like, "Did that just fucking happen?"
Yep, I would. You would.
That's my perfect Ocarina of Time remake tease.
All right, that's assuming obviously that we're hoping that happens. Andrew,
Yeah.
What do you think for Zelda remake remaster? If there's one, what is it?
Were we talking about this thing coming out this year? Because if we are,
I mean,
I'm going to bring us down from the clouds a little.
What
do you know?
I'm looking at the listing. I'm looking at the listing. It does say 2025 games on New Age.
Right.
It does, yeah. You're right. Yeah.
And I actually think a lot of what you guys said is going to happen, but I think if it's going to be something that big, it's not going to be this year. But I definitely think it's like for the first direct of a system, they're gonna. This is going to be one of the few, directs where they announce stuff. I think years out. I think they're not. They don't want to do another Metroid Prime 4 at the Switch E3 in 2017, but they can do things that are 2 to 3 years out. I don't know. I think I just as I was listening to you guys, like I just forgot like how recently Echoes of Wisdom came out. I know that doesn't totally cut a chance or doesn't totally eliminate a Zelda game coming out this year of a port or whatever, but I definitely think it bumps down the likeliness a little. I don't know. My excitement's high, but like my expectations are kind of lowering of what's happening this year Zelda wise. But hopefully, we'll see.
Okay. All right. We're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna talk a little bit about 3D Mario, or are we just gonna be like,
Again, I feel like what you guys have said is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of anything new, but I'm totally on board with 3D Mario this year. I mean, they could always pull the rug out from under us, and Wii U, we didn't get a full single player 3D Mario. I mean, we got 3D World, but you know what I mean. Yeah, we didn't get a full 3D new Zelda game during the Wii U. I doubt that's gonna happen with Switch 2, but like that's the only reason I think that it wouldn't happen right away. Is maybe they need more time for whatever reason. What was that?
You just don't like Cat Mario.
I think.
I love Cat Mario.
we're 100% getting 3D Mario this year. It's Mario's 40th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, delay it for the movie. I'm like, I don't know, man. It is the 40th this year.
No reason to delay it. Just get all the sales and then do it again next year.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any timing with the last movie in a game. They just saw all their past games go up in sales.
Yeah, that's for the 90s. That's what happened in the 90s, man. Jurassic Park comes on in theaters and then it hits Sega Genesis.
Yeah. They gotta drop it this holiday because one, it would be a huge seller for the holidays, just like Odyssey was. And then it's going to get a second sales boost when the movie hits.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually better.
More bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's actually better
marketing.
if they let there be a gap between when it comes out and the movie hits. So I think it's got to be this year on the holidays. I think we definitely are seeing it on April 2nd for sure. Mm-hmm. I'm not even get a name for it, like because this is their blowout. Like I think it's going to be a blowout. So I think we're gonna get game names and everything. But we'll talk more about obviously that direct the closer we get to it. Predictions, because I'm sure there'll be some leaks and stuff for that down the line. There is for every direct. So we'll get to predictions and stuff for that later. If we think it's going to be a huge blowout, like is it going to end up being 40 minutes or is it going to be like 2 hours? I see people go, this is going to be a 2-hour direct. I'm like, I mean, you're basing it off the Switch presentation. I get it, but they didn't call that a direct. I don't know that it's going to be 2 hours, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there real quick.
Sure.
Just about that list on Newegg. So I think what lends a little bit of credence to it is the fact that we know all those games are coming out. Like we're confident. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I am 100% confident all these games are obviously coming, right? Like they're coming. They're coming this year. 3D Mario, Metroid, yes. Mario Kart launch, Xenoblade, it's already dated, and Pokemon. Everything's coming. Like there's they're all confirmed. The only thing that's not that we had no news about is Zelda. So that's why I think seeing this is very interesting because everything we know is 100% except for Zelda. So like, I just feel like, why would you put that in there?
It's funny because the only thing there with a date is Xenoblade Chronicles X. everything else is this
2025.
2025.
And then why would you remove it?
Yeah.
Well, because it got attention.
Exactly.
That remaster, man. That remaster.
They probably got a little email from Nintendo. Hey, what are you doing? Take that listing down, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it down.
It's very interesting. And again, I don't think Wind Waker comes out on Switch 2.
Yeah.
That is not a game that needs Switch 2 hardware. It's perfect for Switch 1. It's aged perfectly. We don't need anything else outside of the HD unless they want to, you want to give us some extra stuff. Sure. That's where I'm at. I just want to mention that again. That
I agree.
That
Absolutely.
this is very interesting. It's worth bookmarking.
All right. Well, let's get to our last topic because this is epic. This is amazing.
Universal Studios.
We're at Thunder Session. Eric's finishing up with the top 10 from the games for Thunder Session. You introduced the topic. The fan part of it's going to come at the end when we see what the fans ended up choosing.
Okay. So, guys, obviously, a new era is upon us. Switch 2, of course, is almost here. And before it gets crazy, because it's gonna, again, we're working towards April 2nd, but there's going to be stuff in between. A lot of exciting things happening. We want to give a really good, solid send-off to the Switch. It's meant a lot to all of us. For a lot of people, it brought them back into gaming because they were able to play on the go now. It's been very special. Obviously, it's going to be the most successful Nintendo console of all time. So we want to go over the 10 games that defined the Nintendo Switch generation. Okay. And as mentioned, Eric's going through all these fan submissions, which there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
What's
a ballpark number of how many you got there?
On YouTube, it was
50 something.
3. Well, no, I was like people.
Oh,
yeah, that was like chats. It's 357 games. Well, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, let me double check that. Hold on.
That's a lot.
That's just YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's Twitter on there as well.
294. And then Twitter was
He's still going down.
555. And yeah, that's just yeah.
So
that's a lot.
He's figured out what the top 10. So we got a lot of stuff to figure out what the fan top 10 is. So let's see what they pick.
So that's a lot. Thank you everyone that participated in that. We appreciate it. That's really cool. So what we're going to do, again, we want this to go on forever, but we want to give it enough time. We're going to go around and talk about the games on our list. And if I say a game, so hypothetically, if I were to go first and I say a game, and Andrew, it's on your list as well, you won't mention the game since I already mentioned it. So we don't mention games twice because there's just so many games, obviously, that are going to come up here. And they mean something different to all of us that kind of define the Switch generation for us. Now, with that said,
this is fun.
I am prepared to go first, but I do have a lot here. And I don't want to accidentally say everything you guys might have.
I can go first.
But I think I could easily play cleanup and probably still add some games to the list. So that would probably be the most efficient way of doing this.
All right.
Were we supposed to come? I only came up with 10 games.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Like-
Okay.
Yeah.
Your body is ready.
Your body's ready. I got a couple of you. Yeah.
All right, Mike.
So-
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Is your body ready to kick it off?
Ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do, of course, the game that I guess. What was the question? The big question again? Just top 10, or is this the game that defined the whatever?
It really
the thing-
defined
yeah,
the Switch generation.
Okay. So for me, the number one game on my list, which is the one that defined the generation, is Breath of the Wild. I think that game literally made and broke the mold and inspired not only open world games for Nintendo, but across all platforms. Breath of the Wild, number one. Tears of the Kingdom, number two. Number three, Skyward Sword. I recently defeated that game for the very first time. Fell in love with it completely. Number four. That's number three. Number three, Skyward Sword. Number four, Mario Odyssey. I put Mike Odyssey there. I don't know why. Mario Odyssey. Number five, Bowser's Fury. It's not a full game. It's like I guess it's a game because it still has 120 stars, just like Mario 64.
And it's exclusive to Switch.
And it's exclusive to Switch. And also, it's like the first glimpse of an open world Mario, which, oh my God, if you haven't played it, get on it.
Counts.
It's my favorite Mario of all time. That's Bowser's Fury. Number six, Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Again, this game is incredible. And also, the first time Kirby has a 3D world around him and everything. Pretty cool. Number seven, Animal Crossing made a huge impact in 2020. One of my favorite games with my daughters. We bonded incredibly. Number eight, Link's Awakening, which was Petey Patootie. Awesome, amazing. Number nine, Super Mario Maker 2. I think it was super fun, especially getting to play all these crazy levels people made, and people build channels on top of that game. So
I remember that. I remember the guy who made Super Mario Brothers 5.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Within it, and dude, that is just so cool. The replay value, like when someone does something like that, it's like, what I wasn't playing the game.
Yeah.
I hadn't played it in a while. And I remember seeing that online. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get the code for this. Like, I got to play this. This is amazing. This is so cool.
And that's the beauty of it. It's like you make a level and just share the code and everybody else can play it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Number 10, and this could be unpopular, but it's popular for me because of sentimental reasons. This is my daughter's first Pokemon game, and we played together. Pokemon Sword and Shield, that from Nintendo. Nintendo. So no honorary mentions available, right? Not even one. Just
no.
Okay, good. Okay.
No, we shouldn't.
Okay, that way we don't kind of step on anybody else.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything that he just talked about.
Right.
Unless we're quick like him, because that was pretty quick.
Yeah, if you're quick,
I think if you're quick.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to go down my list like that too. So,
yeah. If you want to rapid fire,
I'm like he took like half of my list.
Yeah. Okay. Who would like to go then second? Who's prepared after those games that Mike gave? Game Bird, you are?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I didn't do mine in any particular order, so I'm just going to run through the games.
Okay.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. They brought back all the characters. I think the reveals for each character were a huge staple in the Switch's life cycle.
It was a vibe, right?
Absolutely.
It was real.
Metroid Dread, I put on there. It revitalized a game that we once knew about that we thought no longer existed. We didn't know that we'd get. We never thought in a million years we'd see that. So for Metroid fans, that one was massive.
Let me just say this to everyone again. Originally announced in June 2005, released October 2021. That is just so insane. And
went to school, went to college.
Yeah, and so many hearts were broken when Dread was canceled. It was canceled. Nintendo said it was canceled. They didn't say it was still in development.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a great one to put on the list, Game Bird. I like it.
And also, that was my honorary mention.
It was on my list too.
Yeah.
Where am I? Let me see. Okay. This is a weird one, but I'm standing by it. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And the reason why I think that was so influential is because Nintendo allowed a third party to make their own vision of a Mario game, which Nintendo's historically known for being very protective of their IP, and for good reason. And guess what? It worked. And it, like a lot of people say, this is the game that it's a crime that it has no right to be as good as it is. And it was. And the second one's even better.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that one is, I mean, we ended up getting a Star Fox crossover with Starlink, as well as many other crossovers. So
Firefox.
I also put Pikmin 4. It's another one where, you know, long rumored sequel. We kind of thought the series was dead. We got that 3DS game. We're kind of waiting on it, and they innovated. They gave a mount. They gave a new camera perspective. Really cool.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's a good one. It's peak Pikmin.
Absolutely. Let me see. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think that was a massive one. It really took Pokemon for the first time into open world. And despite some of the complaints that people had with that game, it was pretty universally loved and praised in comparison to most of Pokemon Company's recent game outings.
Yes.
To say the least. Let's see. All right. Fire Emblem Three Houses, another one. It didn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, but it won the People's Choice Game of the Year, which is a really big deal. It's a Fire Emblem game. It's always been pretty niche. Got more popular on the 3DS, but Three Houses is the one that I think really blew up the series, and it offered 3 campaigns on one card instead of doing the multiple SKU numbers.
That's a good pick. That's a good shout out for winning People's Choice Game of the Year, because, I mean, think about it. The people are the gamers.
Yep.
The everyday folk are playing video games, and they voted that. So that holds a lot of weight in my book.
Yep. And then I've only got 2 more. I've got 9 because a few of my others Mike already named out.
Cool.
So I've got Mario Wonder. I know this one's a little bit safe. It's a 2D Mario, but we got so stuck in that new Super Mario Brothers game formula that was feeling really stale and dry. And I think Mario Wonder, I mean, it's the big 2D Mario platformer on the Switch. It did some really cool, unique ideas with the Wonder Flower that was not super safe like new Super Mario Brothers games were, excluding that cool Starry Night level, which was rad and you'd expect to see in a Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
But it also added a lot of cool online functionality with like almost like the Dark Souls. You could see the other players running by and they could create checkpoints. So I think that one was pretty great, as well as Luigi's Mansion 3, bringing it back to mainline console, ditching the level system and bringing you back into that nice expansive world, as well as Gooigi, probably one of the most influential Switch characters of all time. It's Luigi, but he's gooey. So
And then Mario Wonder was the first game without Charles Martinet.
Yeah, Charles Martinet. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
a great point.
Kevin Afghani took over for Mario Wonder and gave us the new era.
All right. Those were really good picks. Game Bird, I like them. It was good variety there. It was a nice variety pack. Andrew, what you got, man?
Yeah, I want to be clear that defining does not mean the best. And how I picked this list was because this game is on the Switch, we now can expect this, or yeah, it'll make sense as I say it. So my number 10 is Doom. I think people were just actually shocked how well this ran, that it was ported well. It was actually the most back when I worked in an office before YouTube. It was I'm pretty sure it was the most played one I saw among at least my male coworkers in between breaks, and that was like the first or second year of the system. And they would talk about like other shooters coming. Like that just wasn't something you talked about with Nintendo with shooters. Even though Doom isn't totally like a regular shooter, but since Doom was there was a possibility. My number 9 is Super Mario Odyssey. Kind of like how I mentioned before, first full 3D Mario was back after we didn't get one on the Wii U, aside from 3D World. Yeah. But it also defined that Mario does not have to get power-ups from question blocks. Like Nintendo is not limited with how to power up Mario. I'm going to 200.
Yeah, the new gameplay elements in Odyssey were really special.
for sure.
I'm subscribing to the Andrew Collette show here.
And then my number 8 is Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A lot of same reasons Gamebird mentioned. I feel like Nintendo's getting weird again, getting more trusting with other developers. That's crazy, and it was well received when it was leaked before it was revealed, and people didn't know like what to expect or that this was a bad decision, and it wasn't.
Yep.
Number 7 is Rocket League. That's because crossplay was something we could expect from the Switch. And I remember listening to Psyonix, the developer, and they were talking to Nintendo, and they just said it was a different conversation than when they talked to Nintendo before in the Wii U days. They were just like, crossplay is so important to us. And Nintendo's like, all right, let's make it happen. And now it's almost a regular thing. We just had to know if PlayStation's going to play nice or not. Sometimes we get a crossplay with everyone except PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Cuphead, because a Microsoft exclusive came to the Switch, not the PlayStation. And then this led to more coming over, like Ori and the Blind Forest, and we've still been getting others today during the Xbox, fan freakouts of other exclusives. But
Can't wait.
And now we're getting some before from PlayStation before it goes to Xbox, like Lego Horizons. So yeah, I think Cuphead was like the first one to really break that wall. Number 5 is Tetris 99. This was my personal game of the year, 2019. This was Nintendo's response to battle royales without doing a shooter battle royale. We obviously got multiple 99. Well, they weren't all 99. We had 35. But, the same concept, battle royale in different ways. Funny thing is, my wife is not a gamer at all, and she actually got really into this and suffered the Tetris effect, if you guys don't know what that is. When you're just sitting there, you take furniture objects and like in your mind and you make lines. It's a funny thing. It's a funny Wikipedia article if you ever want to read something funny about Tetris.
Perfect.
An actual diagnosis. But anyways, number 4 is Celeste. Celeste is actually my all-time favorite game. And this was really showing that Nintendo is backing indies more than the other 2 of the big 3. Like, I just remember early on, they'd be showing like this pixel game, and it didn't look bad, but I'm just like, why are they focusing so much on these indie games? Like, once again, they're not bad, but like, I want to see your main headlines, your big properties.
They had a ton in the beginning.
Like right now, like Indie World is like, once again, these games are not bad in Indie World these days. They're just not as like what, I don't know what the word is. They don't make the waves across the internet, but their Indie Worlds early on, like they were like cherry picking what to highlight.
I agree. They're like a dime a dozen now, which is
way too.
So it's like you have to kind of weed through the mess to find like the ones that are special.
Right.
Celeste was certainly a special title.
There's a lot with that pixel art style that's like Celeste. Like if you guys played the Blossom Tales games, Tales 1 and 2.
Love those games.
Great games, right? And they look very similar to Celeste. But at that time, so many of those pixel games were on the eShop in the indie section. So, but I will just say, to add to what you said, love Celeste. Love it. Beat it. It's a game that you can return back to and beat as often as you want because it doesn't take forever. And it's a great experience again.
And to that, I remember I gotta say is wait till you get a load of Indie Mania.
There it is.
One more thing I want to say about Celeste is it also became the meme of on the Nintendo Switch eShop. There's hidden gems, and everyone said there's a hidden gem called Celeste, but it wasn't really a hidden gem because everyone kept saying it was a hidden gem, and
it's not hidden.
Right? Yeah. My number 3 is Smash Ultimate. What more can I say? I think just people that didn't even play the game were paying attention to the announcements. I kind of think that it's actually more exciting to find out who's in the game than to play as that character in the game. I think
it was really special.
Yeah,
all the speculation leading up to every announcement, as well as like the trolls that sometimes Nintendo would do with their character reveals. It's so good.
Yeah. Just the licensing too is insane.
Yeah.
I wonder what we'll see on Switch 2. It might not be as great, but I think it'll be good.
Do you guys remember when that mural leaked on the internet of all the Smash Brothers characters?
The Grinch leak, was that it?
It was the one where the mural showed like Banjo-Kazooie on there, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's fake. It's totally fake because Banjo and Kazooie's on there." I'm like, I remember saying like, "No, I think that's real." It was a mural that leaked long before the DLC, all the DLC players were announced. But
Right.
it was 100% legit. And again, that just adds to the whole Smash Ultimate vibe that we're discussing. It was very cool.
Nice.
Then my number 2 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is the game. I'm not a fan of it, but it's the game. If people only have one game on their Switch, it's Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
sure.
like I know Mario Kart sells more, but those people usually have more games. People were getting FOMO, non-gamers, and they just got a Switch for this. And then they played it and then never touched their Switch again.
Yeah. Yep.
And then my number 1 is Breath of the Wild. I really think it saved Nintendo's reputation. The Switch was known as a Zelda machine before more games came out. And yeah, what more can I say about it? It's fantastic.
More
And
copies in
really-
the system itself at one point in time.
Right. Yeah.
The beginning. Yep.
Crazy.
Great list. Okay. Good variety there for sure. Nate.
All right. No particular order to this. But I'll just go what I have written down here. So Breath of the Wild, I don't really feel like I need to say much about that. Obviously, everyone, I know it's a cross-gen game. I know it's on Wii U. They weren't selling Wii U's anymore when this game came out. So it literally helped kickstart the greatest generation Nintendo's ever had. It's hard to not remember it. Also, it fundamentally changed Zelda moving forward. So there's that. Doom 2016, fairly obvious. That impossible port that ended up running really well and started leading to us getting not just that, we got the next Doom game. We also ended up getting the Wolfenstein games as well, and now it's something we're getting Dark Ages on Switch 2. So
Nice.
like things are real flowing real well, and it all started with Doom, a game no one thought the Nintendo Switch was ever going to get. Smash Ultimate, obviously, again, the unexpected. The everyone is here. The characters we got in the DLC that nobody expected. You know, got Cloud in there. Obviously, Banjo-Kazooie and all the rest. Like, it just broke all expectations. In fact, makes it so people don't even know how the hell they could do Smash Bros. Moving forward. The Sakurai will find a way. So for my money, the best Smash game ever. I'm always going to remember it Ultimate on, because I don't think we're ever going to get a Smash game quite like it again. So I'm always going to remember that game when I think back on Switch. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Pandemic is what it is. That's forever going to be ingrained in my life the way 9/11 is. Anything major that happened at that time, I'm going to remember. It was literally the biggest thing that happened that year. That wasn't like bad news. Literally, like one of the biggest things. Everyone was playing it. Not just like people who were picking up a Switch for the first time because they had nothing to do. People who had Switch were playing it because it was a light year for Nintendo. They didn't have a lot of releases coming up. Again, pandemic. Great time waster. Obviously, you know, I'm never going to remember it as being like my favorite Animal Crossing, but I'll always think of that game when I think of Switch because it was a defining moment.
Yeah.
Just for it kind of felt like a defining moment as a gamer, if you were a gamer, during a very trying time. Tetris 99. Why are we not talking about these 99 games? Kicked it off. Tetris 99 was the first. Obviously, we got F-Zero 99 right now. Still going strong. Tetris 99 is still going as well. We had Mario 35. All those things started with Tetris 99. A battle royale Tetris game that you could play for free if you were an NSO member. I know they sell it separately now, but that led to all these other, like, we just never had games like this. The reason I think that I remember this so fondly is it takes me back to the old school Nintendo Tournament Champion stuff back in the 90s, man. People are going against each other, trying to get the high scores. I love it. Takes me back to the day, and now I can just do it anytime I want. I love it. So, still love that game. I still turn it on every now and then. Tetris 99. Again, I think those games, those battle royale arcade style games, are going to continue being around for decades to come, and that's the game that got it going. Fitting it was Tetris of all games. Love it. Kirby in the Forgotten Land. First ever 3D Kirby game. I'll never forget that. Just like I'll never forget the first 3D Zelda game. Never forget the first 3D Kirby. Absolutely incredible. Possibly the best Kirby game ever made. It is so amazing. And I think it was the proper use of what they were trying to do with 3D World. For like they went with the same isometric style for 3D World, but why? You've already transitioned fully to 3D. You don't need that now. But for Kirby, I think it actually works perfect for the Kirby franchise. All right, Legends Arceus, pretty simple. When people ask me what my favorite Pokemon game is now, I can no longer say I'm a Gen 1er. It's Pokemon Legends Arceus. It, to me, is the best Pokemon game that's ever existed. It might be the best Pokemon game that ever will exist. ZA's got some big shoes to fill. The next Scarlet and Violet definitely did not. Nope, didn't do it for me. I know it did it for a lot of people. I'm not even saying it's a bad game. I enjoyed it, but not as much as Arceus. And Arceus was way more bug free. So we'll see what ZA does this year. And it might have made me a Pokemon fan again, but we'll see. If ZA drops the ball and then the next generation one, the Gen 10, if it's like a repeat of Scarlet and Violet, all right. Well, then this was just a one-off that I love. But I'll always remember it. The Witcher 3. So it was funny when Andrew Collette over there, he brought up the the cross saves with Rocket League and stuff, right? Or crossplay. Yeah. Witcher 3 is cross saves PC. We've never had that before.
Wow.
And in fact, a lot of PC gamers picked up a Switch to continue their PC save on Nintendo Switch at the time. There was no other way to play Witcher 3 portably at the time. It was the first ever way to do it. And that was a huge deal. One, because no one, again, it was another impossible port no one thought could ever run in any way or form that anyone would enjoy. And here we had PC enthusiasts picking it up to play on the go when they couldn't play it on their computer. And then they all said, it's actually just fine. And the Witcher 3 devs recognized PC gamers so much that after the game came out, they released an update that let us mess with little settings in the game like it's a PC game so we could make it look the way we want. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little tidbit there. Also gives me full faith in future games coming to Switch 2 from them. So big deal there because I think cross saves needs to become a regular feature between PC, Switch 2. I wish it was a regular feature between all the consoles. It's just not. But I'd like to see it become more normalized. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think it's the best Fire Emblem game ever made. So it is what it is. I'll always remember that until something else tops it. And here's what I'm going to throw out there because I feel like this started a trend. Octopath Traveler.
It did, yes.
I almost put that on my list.
Was a Switch exclusive for like a few years. Obviously the sequels and everything came to everything, and that's fine. Not only is it an amazing original IP, it brought HD 2D to the mainstream, baby. And now every remake and remaster of classic RPGs are all using HD 2D. It led to us getting another still exclusive game in Triangle Strategy from the same studio. Triangle Strategy also kicks ass. I don't know how that hasn't been released on other platforms yet. So I'm like it kind of, I don't know, like if you guys feel like HD 2D is overdone today, well then blame this game because it started it all. I love the HD 2D art direction. I love it brought back classic art because it felt like for a while we weren't getting classic JRPGs. You know, we weren't getting the turn-based, the build a party up, traditional, like, you know, everything is starting going more action, and I get it. I love action RPGs. Well, one of my favorite games of all time is Secret of Mana, which is literally an action RPG. But this brought back that classic JRPG feeling. I loved it. It sold really well. Obviously, sort of the sequel and everything else, and a lot of these HD 2D ones have done really well. The latest being Dragon Quest that went HD 2D. Love it. Phenomenal. So, yeah, shout out to Octopath Traveler. I felt bad because I wanted to put some indie games on this list because indies have been a huge part of the Switch's story. And there's a lot that I could shout out, but I have such a hard time because those indie games are also, for many people, played first on things like PC. Like, I think Hollow Knight's a big part of the Switch's story early on, but then it's also, okay. But it makes people cry to bring that up because we're waiting for Silksong for the last 6 years. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. So I decided not to put any indie games on. I will give one just minor shout out just because I went through my list quickly. Cadence of Hyrule. We talked earlier about how Mario, first time trusting a third. Cadence of Hyrule, first time trusting an indie studio with a major Nintendo IP. We'll see if that translates to anything in the future. That'd be a fun trivia thing if Nintendo starts to do a lot of these crossovers. Like, what was the first Zelda game to have a,
Didn't they have Sonic at the Olympics with Mario?
Yeah, that was a whole new like genre game.
Right.
But yeah, that would be the first like crossover with another franchise, I think, for them that wasn't Nintendo owned.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, by the way, guys. Technically, Pac-Man is in Mario Kart. That might predate it. I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, there might be some other crossovers out there I'm not thinking of, especially in the olden days of games. There might be some sort of arcade game that crossed over.
Yeah.
Again, trivia. All right. We'll save Eric for last. Do you have a 10 list on yourself? No, okay. He's just going to do the fan list.
I'm just going to do the fan list.
The fan
All
list.
right.
So
I haven't had a
Stash
chance to
next.
think about it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me pull this up here. So, obviously, with being last, there's some things that have been said. But I kind of knew this was going to happen, and I will be honest. I kind of did the list in a weird way. Okay, but I'm going to go through it quick. But it was because I knew I was going to probably play cleanup, and I think this can hopefully help put a bow on everything. So, in no specific order, Mario on the Nintendo Switch. We got Mario Odyssey. Best 3D Mario game. Some might say the best 3D Mario game is Super Mario 3D World. And I can see that as well. Excellent game. We got new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. We got Super Mario Maker 2. We got Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which gave us Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, which looks glorious on the OLED Switch. And then we got Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Nice.
Then, on top of all that, if you look at all the Mario games, I'm not going to go through them, but all the Mario games that are on NSO, it's insane. We've never had all these Mario games that are this good to be able to play under one roof on one console. So I couldn't just do one. It's Mario's overall presence in major games that aren't sports titles and parties and all this. It's not like just a bunch of spin-offs. It's major games. Like if you think about it, Nintendo 64, how many Mario platformers do we get? One. How many do we get? We got lucky. We got 2 3D ones, and we got the new Super Mario Brothers. You look at Super Nintendo. How many do we get? But if you look at it throughout all the years, it's like we've never had this many. So that's pretty special.
We also even got the OG All-Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got everything, man. Like, we've never ate that good for mainline Mario titles. Next is, this one's really important too, I think. It's Pokemon, but on the Switch, because this is the first time it's came to console. And that's a huge deal. Like, to me, that really does define the Switch, is that, hey, this is the first time we ever got a mainline Pokemon game. Because you look at Stadium, obviously, like, that doesn't count. Sorry. That'll never count. Obviously, it's game, yes. But that doesn't count. Pokemon Snap, love it. But that doesn't count. But not only that, like, we got, okay, I made a list. Pokken Tournament, Pokemon Quest. You got the Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. You got the Cafe Remix. You got new Pokemon Snap, which that's still one that surprises me. I could not believe we got a new Pokemon Snap because that game was so much fun on the 64 growing up.
It's so good.
We got Unite. We got Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Obviously, Legends, Scarlet and Violet, Detective Pikachu Returns. And then on top of that, on the NSO, we got the trading card game. We got the original Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, and we got Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team on the GBA, which was the most recent Pokemon game to come out on the NSO. So, like, it's crazy to think about all the Pokemon that we got. And the thing is, it's not over.
Wow.
I mean, do we all think that we're probably going to get at least another Pokemon Gen remake on Switch One with that
Problem.
install base? Yeah. Like, I don't think it's over, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that leads me to the next one. And again, like, I will want to preface this that this is coming from someone who grew up in the 80s, who's been playing since, 88, since the days of the NES. And I've went through a lot of dry spells, and I know a lot of you guys were there through it too. And that's Zelda, man. Like, so not only did Breath of the Wild bring Zelda, into a new stratosphere as far as sales, but we've never got this many Zelda games on one console ever. Like, this is insane. To live through Link to the Past and that wait.
6 years.
Yeah. Ocarina of Time. Like, it's just nuts. So to recap, we got Breath of the Wild in 2017. In 18, we got Hyrule Warriors. 2019, again, Cadence of Hyrule. Great game. 2019 as well, we got Link's Awakening. And we got Age of Calamity in 2020. Properly titled, actually, for 2020.
Yeah.
Sad about that. 2021, Skyward Sword HD. 2023, Tears of the Kingdom. And then 2024, again, I mean, I was very surprised that we got another Zelda game, a 2D one, be it a brand new one starring Zelda in 2024. Insane. Plus, of course, all the NSO Zelda games, which, they're pretty much, they're all there outside of the DS, the 3DS, and the Philips CDI.
All the platforms they have on there have all the Zelda games they had, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. So it's insane. And obviously, just going through the first three, it's a common theme with Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda. Like, we're seeing peak for all of these franchises. I'm going to go with one, actually, that surprisingly you guys didn't say. Very surprised. I did not think it would be left for me. That's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, to release the month after the Switch launched, with kind of the game plan being, hey, we're going to get this Mario Kart out. Okay. Well, we continue to work on the actual Mario Kart that's going to be coming to Switch. And then the sales just took off. And obviously they never stopped and they're still going. But as that time went on, I think Nintendo was like, hey, I think we leave this untouched. Like, we can't release another one. Plus, if we do, we completely change the precedent, right?
Yeah.
Because every Nintendo console or handheld has one Mario Kart. The moment you release two, expectations change, which is why I don't think Mario Kart 9 is coming to Switch 1. But if it was ever going to happen, that could be the time, especially if it's Mario Kart X, and they do a play on words with crossover with the Switch. Obviously, that's another story. But the DLC and the expansion pass specifically is really, I thought this was really important because they invited Nintendo in. They invited everyone else to play. It became Nintendo Kart. And I think that is going to continue to expand with the next Mario Kart. But again, the best-selling Mario Kart of all time is absolutely insane.
Insane how late they announced the DLC too. I think really shows that Nintendo, even though they don't do DLC a lot, it seems like it's never out of the question now. I think it was like 4 or 5 years after release.
So. It was so crazy. And I remember seeing the price, $24.99 for 48 tracks. I'm like, what? Like, that is a steal. Like, that is so generous.
Yeah.
And I also saw at the same time, social media, people being like, oh, that's that's a horrible deal. You know, Nintendo.
They basically released another full game.
That's like an entire game.
Yeah, it's literally a
and you get
game's
it free
worth
if you
of
have the
content.
expansion.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
NSO.
And I had it. I've had.
And if you have
expansions
Mario
since
Kart,
day
you're
one.
probably playing online, right? So you probably have NSO. So
Yeah. This is it's just the craziest to me, the craziest Mario Kart obviously we've ever got. I had it on Wii U. I absolutely loved it. I thought even on the Wii U that the graphics were just insane at the time.
Sure.
And then to see it come over to Switch now and just to see how well it's done and just to think that we've been playing, you know, the same Mario Kart for, is it going to be
it's over 10 years now.
you know, over 10 years now?
Crazy.
It's just wild. So to me, that was really special. And just like with the Smash Brother character invites,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the DLC and the expansion pass cups was very similar. Like there was a lot of people online like trying to figure out what was going to be in the cups, and it was a fun discourse to have with people to discuss everything.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass over a couple of these because I don't want to say the same thing. I will play off of what you had said, Nate, because I did have this on my list, but I want to go just a tad deeper. You had Octopath Traveler, and for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind everyone that this was a Switch exclusive with Square Enix. This wasn't exclusive. It is now on PlayStation, but it took a couple of years to come out on PlayStation.
Yep.
And what's significant about that is the relationships being built during this generation with Square Enix. I hold Square Enix in really, really high regard. I mean, they definitely make some of my favorite RPGs of all time. And so to me, that was huge, but like it didn't stop there. We got that. We got Live Alive, like a Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom RPG that obviously it didn't come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the HD 2D, that was brilliant. Another thing that Switch doesn't get credit for, but it should, is Dragon Quest XIS. The S stands for Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The S is the Switch version. It was so good and so much better than the standard Dragon Quest that came out on PS4
Mm-hmm.
that they brought that version over to PlayStation and to Xbox. Because the Switch version, you can play the whole entire game in 2D or 3D. They added a 2D mode, a full 2D mode. And you can switch literally on the fly. It's insane. Like, I don't know how they did that, but it's extremely impressive. And they added a fully orchestrated soundtrack. There's a couple other things they added. Those are the two headliners, though. And I played this game beginning to end, absolutely loved it. But so often people say, obviously, that the Switch gets the worst version of games. That's clearly not the case, is it? It was so good that they decided to take the Switch version and port it. And then I will flip this one more time. What other game did this happen with? Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, Rise. Yep.
Right? Like, it's interesting to look back at some of these games and look at it in that way. But then I gotta say the other one with Square Enix is Super Mario RPG Remake. Like, holy crap. For me, that was huge. I love Super Mario RPG. I love Geno. I love Mallow. Dude,
Gino for Smash.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I love this game so much.
The man's gonna be there.
And I think if, like, as an old school Nintendo fan, going from Super Nintendo to what then happened with the 64,
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, of course, Final Fantasy VII was originally planned to release on the 64 until Nintendo decided to go with cartridges. And then Square's like, we can't do it. Like, we can't. This game cannot come out on 64. Like, we need a CD. And that's when things started changing as far as third parties, was obviously after the Super Nintendo. And to see their relationship the way it is now is nice. It's nice to see as a fan, to see like Square Enix come back into the fold. I feel like they did everything possible to get every single Final Fantasy game they could on Switch 1. Like, I think I own all of them physically. There's a ton of them. It's insane. So that was really cool. Again, Nate, you mentioned the impossible ports. We all did. Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, Kingdom Come, Deliverance, No Man's Sky, Hellblade, Ace Combat 7. There's some crazy games that should have never been able to run on Switch. That's extremely impressive. And I want to throw in Harry Potter as well. That game running on Switch is absolutely insane that they were able to get that to run.
Is this your top 100?
No, these are all encapsulated.
This is with you.
Xbox and PlayStation games on Switch. Again, we've never seen this. This is unprecedented, and it's only going to get better when it comes to Xbox. And I'll leave you with this last one that, again, this is something I would never expected, was to get all of the Mario RPG games that we got on Switch. I would have never expected that we'd get a RPG starring Mario spanning 3 different RPG universes. Paper Mario, Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi. All on one console. Never would have thought that would happen.
Right?
Yeah. And as a big RPG fan, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of your guys' games were on my list. I will say that. Those were my other ones to fill in some gaps. So there you go.
All right.
Nice.
Good list.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Eric, what did the fans come up with? Let's see if they got this right, or is it a bunch of hogwash?
Okay, well, let's go through a little bit at a time here. Let's start with YouTube. Top 10 for YouTube, right? Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 10. Splatoon 2 at 9. Xenoblade Chronicles at 8. We got a tie for 7 with Mario Wonder and Kirby and Forgotten Lands. We got a tie for 6th with Metroid Dread and Luigi's Mansion 3. 5th is Animal Crossing New Horizon. 4 is Tears of the Kingdom. 3 is Mario Kart 8. 2, we have a tie between Smash Ultimate and Odyssey. And number 1 being Breath of the Wild. If we go over to Twitter, we got Fire Emblem 3 Houses at 10, Splatoon 2 at 9, Mario Wonder at 8, Metroid Dread at 7, Tears of the Kingdom at 6, Mario Kart 8 at 5, Smash Ultimate at 4, Animal Crossing at 3, Odyssey at 2, and Breath of the Wild at 1. And then, surprisingly, we had, so overall on YouTube, we had 67 games, and then on X, we had 73 games. But overall, we had a total of 104 unique games between the two platforms. And we had 14 with over 20 votes. But that actually is not where the cutoff is. So cutoff at number 10 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. 9 is Splatoon 2. 8 is Mario Wonder. 7 is Metroid Dread. 6 is Tears of the Kingdom. 5 is Animal Crossing New Horizon. 4 is Mario Kart 8. 3 is Smash Ultimate. 2 is Odyssey. And number 1 overall with 90 votes, and that is 10% of the votes total is Breath of the Wild.
No
Almost
surprise.
10 and a half.
Yeah,
10
No
yeah.
surprise. Breath of the Wild. One of the best launch games ever
Yeah.
in the history of
It
the game.
set the stage for Switch's success.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
wild
Yeah.
how much that game took my breath away when I played it.
I gotta do something.
It was
here.
wild.
Well, I have to do something here. This is very, very well deserved. Eric,
Yeah. I've
Oh,
been doing
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thanks, man.
All that for a minute of talk.
listen.
Yeah, 4 hours to compile that list.
That's okay.
Yeah, the ending didn't stick the landing, but
What percentage, and everything. All
Yeah.
those votes in. Man,
Yeah.
for real. Commend you. I commend you. That was
runners up.
None
real
of us.
quick. Luigi's Mansion at 11, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at 12, Fire Emblem 3 Houses at 13, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 14. Those are all the ones with 20 or more votes.
There you go.
Cool.
I think it's interesting they had Splatoon, but I don't think any of us put Splatoon.
Because when I think Splatoon, I think Wii U.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not the reason, but I don't think it's top 10 either way.
Well, like 2 and 3 are really, really good. It's just kind of like, yeah, but like
it's more.
It's the same thing, but better.
Yeah, like the shock value was 1, and that was on Wii U for me.
I've got a number. I've got a number 10 now. I didn't have a number 10 on my list. I'm gonna add one. It's a weird one. No one named it, but I do think it's a pretty defining moment in the Switch 2's life, and that's Nintendo Labo.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sold
Labo.
That was in here.
They sold.
Nintendo Labo.
Yeah, gotta add Labo.
I mean, and let you play Breath of the Wild in VR, baby.
Labo had 4 votes.
How many
Oh,
votes
wow.
did Snipper Clips get?
Snipper Clips, I believe, was 2.
Oh, that was a good game, actually.
It got votes. What about 1-2 Switch?
1-2 Switch, I think, was. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oh gosh, where did that go?
If everybody 1-2 Switch got a vote, that's
1-2
they're
Switch.
they're trolling.
That is horrible. That's the most.
1-2 Switch.
Oh,
I'll
Everybody
always-
1-2 Switch is defining for a different reason.
Well,
Like, what wasn't it the only game, like first party Nintendo game on Switch to?
it's the worst.
It was
rated
only
first party game. It's like
right, but it was the only one like the release date was released on Twitter and not like a direct or something.
I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah,
That was everybody 1-2 Switch.
and it was like right after a direct. Like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody 1-2 Switch. Like they
It was
just had a direct, and then
It
like
was
days
really
later they announced the release date on Twitter.
1-2 Switch is actually a fun game if you play it with a party like it's meant to be. Everybody's 1-2 Switch is not. It's
Right.
it's utter trash, even with a party.
Get
You
some
know,
Horus hate.
Listen.
Yeah.
I streamed it. I made the mistake of trying to play with the chat, and literally, like within seconds, 20,000 penises.
Of course,
Hell yeah. That's
dude.
about
It
how
was
that
a
works.
bad. It was a bad game. It just wasn't good.
Horrible.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our Q&A. We got 20 lined up right now. If you guys have any questions in the chat, watching live, all you gotta do is super chat them in, $2 and up. All right, let's go here. Jawbreaker says if Switch 2 is backwards compatible and can upgrade Switch 1 games through patches, why is Breath of the Wild getting re-released on Switch 2? Well, we don't know that it's getting re-released. Start with that.
It's not.
We don't know. That's the nothing's been confirmed or announced by Nintendo.
Well, let me call them right now. So I'll let you know.
There is a rumor that it was part of Gamescom 2023, where Nintendo showed off an improved version to developers. It also has a code name in UKingO, but everything has a code name. That doesn't necessarily mean that code name is a separate release. Could just be an update, or it could be nothing. We don't know if that's ever going to come out. That being said, maybe they re-release it, maybe they don't. We don't really know how Nintendo's going to handle this stuff with like doing remasters of Switch 1 games versus doing patches. We don't really know what the game plan is there, because Nintendo obviously likes re-releasing games. So like, and I don't think, did they ever do a definitive edition of Breath of the Wild with the DLC?
No,
No.
So that could be the play for them.
only in Japan. I have it.
Yeah, that could be the play to re-release.
I'm still waiting on Tears of the Kingdom DLC. I'm hoping.
I'm wondering if it comes out on Switch too.
Yeah.
In a definitive version.
I guess it's more for Switch.
Same with Mario Wonder. Do you guys ever wonder why all the DLC stopped? And all
So
the
we
new
never got
games?
it for Odyssey. I still can't believe that.
At least they added the Luigi thing, but that was
Yeah.
that wasn't that big a deal.
More of an update.
Andrew Brywell, love you all. Ocarina of Time remake, not just a 3D port. That's exactly. We talked about that earlier. That's exactly what we want. You can't bring
When,
Ocarina of
not
Time
if.
back. Yeah, you can't bring Ocarina of Time back without it being a remake.
Yeah.
I swear, if it's just an HD 3DS port, it's gonna be so disappointing.
If it's a
Full
remaster,
riot.
if it's a
basically.
remastered Zelda game, then it's gonna be Twilight Princess. If it's a remake, it's OOT.
Yeah, I want OOT more than the new 3D Zelda game.
Oh damn!
I do. I
Dang.
undoubtedly I do. I want it more.
You know what? I'm halfway through playing it. I'll completely stop and just play the new one. I'm on it too.
Damn.
Hard sell with it on NSO already too. If it was just upscaled.
Yeah. Demonic Brawler says, how likely will we get NSO shadow drops during the February Direct? Oh, I mean, they do the drops randomly already, right? Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they drop them at like 8 p.m. Central Time. I
They're
know
scraping the bottom of the barrel.
They always seem to happen when my streams are starting. So it's like, hey, here's a little surprise at the start of the stream. We got a little quick Nintendo news. They haven't. That we actually haven't had. Have we had a shadow? Have we had any drop in January?
Nope.
I think this is the first month in a while we haven't had any. Now the month's not over. Could happen this week. Could happen tomorrow. Could happen next week. Obviously, I also think that like Nintendo's in a transition to Switch 2, or it's possible like NSO stuff might kind of go on hiatus for a little bit because there could be some new platforms launching with Switch 2's NSO, and that might be where the focus is of that team because it's a really small team that does all the games and the stuff for it. So it could just be like they're really hard at work on the next platform, like GameCube or something dropping. And so that's just where their efforts are, and that'll get announced in April or something. So, I mean, could there be shadow drops in the February? The answer is, of course, there could be. They could drop them anytime they want, but they just don't need a direct for it. They've kind of proven they don't. But they do use directs to announce new platforms being added. And so if they want to announce it in that direct, because it's also going to be on Switch 1, they could. Or they could save it for Switch 2. I think a new platform is getting announced between one of those two directs for NSO.
Or if it's like a crazier release, like GoldenEye.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If it's like a really out there release like that. Yeah. Hold on. I got a couple more of these super chats. I got to go mark. All right. Let's get to our next one here. This is just a super chat. Nothing to say to this one. Just thank you for the one odd, Jimzo. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Andrew Brightwell says, Crow and shots for the Switch 2 reveal. Thank you, Nate. No problem. No problem, man. That was the big $50 one. Thank you so much. I did that shop for you. Appreciate it. Glad to see you here. Demonic Brawler. Pikmin spinoff or a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
I want to see Explorers of Sky come back.
What would be a Pikmin spinoff?
Oh, Hey Pikmin. What's a Pikmin spinoff?
Total War Pikmin.
Oh, you mean like a game?
Total War Pikmin.
Am I right?
You want a Pikmin spinoff or a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
How about a Pikmin game that's like Candy Crush but on iOS and Android?
Dude, I would totally take a Pikmin Total War game that was just brought up. I love the Total War franchise, man. That'd be
right.
Nintendo would never do it.
Massive armies of Pikmin.
Mass armies of Pikmin. But then again, the Pikmin are dying all the time in the game. So what's the difference? Let's go.
Yeah. Giant battlefields of playgrounds and sandboxes.
Oh,
it'd be so epic.
But there's no way they're going to do it. So if we're talking about like what Nintendo would actually do, which is like a Hey Pikmin style spinoff, I'd probably rather have a mystery dungeon. But I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not going to play either one either way.
Yeah.
Right. I love the Mystery Dungeon series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. See, and like I played Mystery Dungeon, it's fine. You know, it doesn't like excite me, but it doesn't offend me the way Hey Pikmin was offensive.
Are you talking about the Switch one, the DX?
Yeah, I don't want to get into that one. Please, let's not bring that one up.
Okay, well, I just know it's a little repetitive. It's more repetitive than some of the better ones.
It is very repetitive. But I've played other ones. I don't mind. See, the Mystery Dungeon games are just fine to me. But the only Pikmin spinoff we have in Hey Pikmin, it wasn't just fine. It was horrible. It's just not a good game.
Yeah, it only exists because of Miyamoto. That's my belief.
Yeah, well, pretty much. It was his idea, which is fine. And look, Miyamoto's allowed to have misses. Wii Music.
No, but he promotes it everywhere. I'm like, no one's playing this. And Nintendo Live, they got like so many promotions for it. I'm like, no one is going up to these QR codes.
No, they're doing.
It's just really funny
Pikmin
how
Bloom.
much he pushes it.
He pushes Pikmin Bloom a lot. Now, according to the download charts, a lot of people are playing Bloom.
I am.
It hasn't offended people yet. The way Pokemon Go has kind of like alienated its fan base over the years. So we'll see.
How many is a lot of people?
It has over 100 million downloads. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like that doesn't tell me anything.
Of course. Yeah, we don't know how many are active.
I mean, like 15% of that is playing it.
Well, that's still
15%. That would be amazing.
That's still 15 million. That's good.
Yeah.
And I know it's more popular in Japan. They have a lot of really special things with it in Japan.
That's probably true.
Yeah, there are a lot of cool locations you go to with the Pikmin in Japan that are. It's actually kind of cool. We don't have that here in the U.S., but that's okay. Demonic Brawler says, "You're waiting on a new Duck Hunt." That is beloved and that is niche.
Mhm.
I would love that in a VR headset.
Oh, a VR, yeah, that'd be great for VR.
Yeah.
I'll just say get comfy.
Right? Get very-
Die, duck. Something like that.
All right, we need the dog to come. Dude, I got to start making the dog laughing thing pop up on the screen. I gotta add that to our. I gotta add that to our setup here. just because of what Mike just did.
The con for adults, like get the like a dog be a pit bull, just ripping.
Demonic Brawler is hitting on me and Stash and probably Eric right now. Hardcore.
Yeah.
NFL Blitz and
Hell
NBA
yeah.
Jam. Bring him back, baby. Yes.
Dying for it.
He's on fire.
We need it.
Oh yeah, for real.
There's
Well,
no variety in sports games anymore. There's no arcade sports games.
Not really.
Very
And
true.
the ones that do exist, they're not really that good. Like,
The one
like what was the one that tried to replace NBA Jam for a bit?
Oh, 2K Playground.
Yeah.
No, Street.
No,
the game's
there was
trash.
Street, there was Street as well. Street was.
Street
not
was.
good.
I liked Street. I liked NBA Street Volume 1 and 2, and then Volume 3 had Mario. On GameCube,
Yeah.
you had Mario,
Woo,
Peach. Luigi.
shakalaka. God, so good.
But yeah, nothing beats Jam and nothing beats
cool.
Blitz. Those are the best.
So
we
good.
need to bring back Midway and Mark Turmell. You remember him?
Yeah.
All right.
He was a secret player.
So there hasn't been an NBA Jam in a long time. I didn't even think about that.
The last one was NBA Jam on Fire Edition for PS3
Mm-hmm.
and 360. It was actually on Wii too. And EA had the license at the time. I don't know
Yep.
if they still do, but EA hasn't made a basketball game in
Yeah,
since
that-
what, Live 19? Live
Yeah,
18?
I think it's the last time they tried to go up against 2K and it didn't work.
Yeah. So they don't do anything. You know, the EA Big series, they used to have NFL Street and
Yep.
FIFA Street. Nobody does anything. It's just Madden and 2K.
What happened
And-
to backyard football, Eric?
I know.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Backyard
Oh, yeah.
football was fun.
I thought they were trying to relaunch that.
They might be. I don't know. That was
Was
really
it- Yeah, baseball. Didn't baseball come out recently?
Well, they re-released like Backyard, I think baseball, one of the old ones recently within the last like month or so.
Yeah.
I thought I read that what was it? Adam Kelsey bought the rights to Backyard Base or the Backyard series. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Who'd you say?
Adam Kelsey, is that right? Travis's brother. He bought, from what I had heard, the license to the Backyard series
I have no idea.
because he
Not sure, but-
obviously loves those games and wants them to come back out.
Can we rewind a little bit? Can I ask you guys a question? You know, in the NES era, right? We had Mario and Duck Hunt. We had the Zapper. What other games were made for the Zapper besides Duck Hunt?
Oh, gotcha.
Hogan's Alley.
I never played any of them. Just
Yeah. I mean, I got it right here. Let's see. Yeah, Hogan's Alley. I mean, there wasn't a lot, dude.
So, no, his brother didn't buy it. So Jason Kelsey said that he wanted his brother to buy it last year, but no, they didn't buy it. But
They
yeah,
were
they did.
looking
They did
into it.
release a baseball.
Yep.
A baseball one was recent. They announced it in August of last year.
Yeah. Release date was not included in the August 20th, 24 trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, the backyard baseball is coming back, it looks like.
Stephen Welldale
cool.
had
Yeah,
a
it is.
$2.37 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Demonic Brawler said March 10th is right around the corner. It is.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot about March 10th.
Yeah, Mario Day. Like they'll probably have something.
Are they going to celebrate Mario's birthday on March 10th, or are they going to do it on like October? I think it was October 21st
they can
that
start
Mario came out in the US with the NES.
I have no idea.
I'm wondering. It's
yeah,
either
no.
March or October, probably.
Yeah, whenever they
Actually.
decide to do it.
Could you guys see them releasing the 3D Mario in October? On October 21st? 40 years later?
Oh, what day is that?
I think that's very possible.
That lands on a Thursday. The answer is yes. I don't know what it lands on.
Oh, it's definitely not.
No, it's a
23rd and
Tuesday.
16th.
It's a Tuesday. Yeah. Man, that would be wild though if they did it. They made it acceptable.
Wouldn't be smart. I think it'd be a good nod.
It'd be sweet. I was like, why is that game released on a Tuesday? You don't know? Trivia for you. Taker 610. Everyone laugh at Gamebird's jokes. Go on, keep laughing at him. Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Pokemon Fan, for the 99 cents. I appreciate it. Namala Brawler. I want the color buttons on the Pro Controller for Switch 2 if Nintendo doesn't do it. I hope I can find a third-party companies that custom make one. Yeah, so like the color button theory obviously is dead, right? Like that's clearly not a thing Nintendo's doing with Switch 2. But, I know some people are like, well, maybe it's for the Pro Controller. I doubt it at this point. That being said, there will be third-party controllers that do it for sure.
Yeah.
Just like there was ones that make GameCube style ones. Like you're gonna have that 8-bit dough will be all on top of that for a third-party Switch 2 controller, even though all their controllers will still work on Switch 2. They'll make a Switch 2 specific one so you can have the C button on there or whatever that does, Maybe a headphone jack if Nintendo's allowing that. But yeah, it's unfortunate that was like one theory I kind of wanted to be true for nostalgia reasons, but I'm like, yeah, but maybe Nintendo thinks it looks a little silly. They're trying to keep that professional adult sleek appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Demonic Brawler, I want 60 FPS on 85% of games, no drops. Well, I want it on 100% of games, no drops. I don't think it's going to be reality on Nintendo Switch 2. And I don't think every game has to have it, but games are better when they do. So you're not going to find me disagreeing. I'm a PC gamer, man. Yeah, I know I'm Nintendo Prime, but I didn't buy the 4080 Super over here just to edit videos.
Yeah, I'm okay with 59 frames per second. Fine.
Shh, don't tell the tax man that. I just put this on my tax report. Do you use it for work 100% of the time? 90. There's 10% of gaming in there. But they still counted it anyways. I was honest. I said 90. All right. Let's see here. Jorge, why do you think Nintendo uses web-based for the eShop? Anyone want to take this?
Because it's easier. It's just there. They hire a web maker than an app maker. The code-wise, it's just a lot easier to maintain. Yes, they can have people remotely maintain instead of having them remotely via server. So that's why it's just easier to maintain when it comes to the coding.
I think it's just for easy compatibility to buy games through a web browser and then also buy them on your Switch.
Yeah,
I think it's all one system. I think it's a bad system. I think other platforms obviously have their ability to buy through a web browser, but also a dedicated app on the platform because it's just better. It's better. It's a better user experience to do that. Is it more complicated? Is it more costly? Yeah, but it's better for the end user. I hope Nintendo sees that and realizes, hey, we probably should make a dedicated eShop application that taps into the web stuff instead of it being just a web browser. Because I don't know if people even realize it, guys. When you load the eShop, you're loading a web browser. It's one of the reasons why it sucks so bad. Now that's not why there's not game suggestions and why like the actual like navigation to the shop sucks. But it's why it's so laggy. It's not really running locally on your system. It's a web browser. And it sucks. It's a shitty web browser. Anyways, if you want to access the web browser, just tell Facebook you forgot your password. Then you can go anywhere you want on the web. I'm serious, guys. It's like a known thing from day one with Switch. You can access the web browser because they didn't think of that people would just not know their social media passwords. Apparently. Let's see here. Demonic Brawler again, man. Demonic Brawler coming in with lots of questions today. Thank you so much, man, for the support of the show. If Ocarina of Time gets a remake, I'll be on that game nonstop for like a week.
3 weeks to be exact.
And I think all of us are going to be on there. Like it's like there's no tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Eric might deep dive in after getting hooked on.
I'll quit the channel and dedicate myself to playing that game
because he knows it's an all-time classic, and I don't think you've ever played through it.
Which one?
Ocarina of Time.
No.
Yeah. So and it's N64 right up the alley. You're gonna probably love that fucking game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially full remake. It's pretty sick. Again,
Absolutely.
that's what we are hoping that it is. Technically, it's just something Ocarina of Time keeps getting teased by Aonuma. And he's been asked directly about a remake. Again, as I keep reminding people, he's literally denied other things when he's directly asked. He wouldn't deny that. Aonuma's kind of a master, a maestro, as you were, of teasing things. He teased the playable Zelda game a year ago as well. Nobody was paying attention. Intergalactic Space Pirate. What are your top 3 Zelda games on any system excluding Zelda for CD? Why would you exclude the best games? The funny thing is, you thought if those were included, those would be in my top 3. Who do you think I am? I'm not a monster. God. My top 3 Zelda is simple. It's Tears of the Kingdom, then Breath of the Wild, then Zelda 2. But I have this weird thing where part of my mind wants to combine Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom into one game. But it's not. And I'm not saying they're not separate games because they even play a little different. I don't know. It feels weird because Tears of the Kingdom has made Breath of the Wild feel like a lesser game to me. But every time I try to move Breath of the Wild below Zelda 2 or below another Zelda game, it feels wrong. It just feels wrong. Like no, it's staying at number 2. It's just wrong. Like it's going to take a new Zelda game to top it. So, yeah. So you can say there's some recency bias in there. That's fine. I've been playing Zelda since the 80s. You think I got recency bias with Zelda 2 was my number 1 Zelda game all the way up until Breath of the Wild? And Eric can vouch. It's been this way my whole life. Like, yeah. Zelda 2 wasn't even the first Zelda game I played. So it's not even like, oh, it's the first. No, it's Link's Awakening was my first one. So, nah, man. That's my top 3. Thank you so much for that personal question. Probably better on a Q&A stream when it's just me, but hey, we'll take it. Kartkun. If no one's going to say it, Metroid. I think someone brought up Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was for sure brought up.
Yeah, we did.
On the fans thing.
Yeah, it was in the fan thing too.
So
the Switch saved the franchise. Save the franchise. I think people do forget that before Switch came out, Metroid was kind of they kind of put it on the shelf because Other M did so poorly.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Federation Force.
That also did even worse.
The best Metroid Prime game.
Which Federation Force is actually a good game, but like no one wanted to give it a try because
I just think it's funny they put Prime in it.
hey, Samus, the ship is in there. I mean, anyways, not a lot of people played the game, so there's no point in referencing things that happen in it because barely anyone knows. Anyways, yeah, obviously Metroid Dread, best-selling Metroid game ever. I mean, you can't, franchise saved just right there. Metroid Dread, best-selling ever. And yeah, the development story of Prime 4, I still think we don't even know the full story. I think there will be documentaries on the development cycle of Metroid Prime 4 at some point down the line. God, there's that one YouTuber that does those documentaries too. Used to be a journalist.
The gaming historian?
No, not him.
He's great.
Does he do Game File? This guy does Game File. I can't remember. Anyways, there's someone out there that I'm thinking of that I know like actually like goes to the studios and gets like direct interviews with everyone and gets like the real backstory behind these games. I feel like that's going to happen someday just because he tends to be able to get into Western studios pretty easy. And I think he'll be able to get a trip to Retro, see their side of the story. And we'll find out, was Bandai Namco the ones developing it before?
Was it Did You Know Gaming?
Yeah, no clip. No clip. That's what I was thinking of, Karkin. No clip. If you guys have never seen some of his documentaries, they're really in-depth because he actually goes to the studios and gets like the real story according to them.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's ran by Danny O'Dwyer, I believe. It's the guy who runs that. Very, very like Did You Know Gaming does a really great job, and you guys, Gaming Historian does great as well. But like this guy goes like in, like he uses all his industry connections to get like inside the studios to try to like get the real stuff.
Real scoop.
Yeah, the real scoop, the scoop to loop. That's a good one. Thank you so much for bringing up Metroid. I always love when Metroid's brought up. Jorge FT, don't forget Monster Hunter Rise.
I said it.
Yeah, it was brought up by Steve. I think the thing with Monster Hunter Rise is like Monster Hunter's been performing well on Nintendo, going back to the Wii and 3DS. Like it wasn't a surprise that it did well. It used to, they had an exclusivity contract for a while. So like I don't really view it as that influential. I feel like it would have been more influential to get World, since that was never supposed to be on a Nintendo system. But we still didn't get it.
Yep.
I think if we get the next one, the one coming out here in a handful of months, that'll be more telling. Because that to me would be like, okay, Capcom's done fucking around. But hey,
Do you think they bring World to Switch too?
I don't think so at this point. I think they'd rather focus on that new one.
Comes out February 28th.
Yeah,
Soon.
yeah, it's coming out very soon. Obviously, it won't be day and date on Switch. Switchers on out, but I think they'd be fools not to bring it over. If they can get that bad boy to run well, dude, there's a huge Monster Hunter audience in this Nintendo core, man.
I think that's the big thing, is if they can get it to run. Because I played the beta, and
some rough.
it's pretty rough. It was running at. They built it to run at 30, and it was not smooth at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's concerning.
Andrew Brightwell, I'm not going to retime remake. Sorry, have kids. Nate gets it. Sure. I'll make my kids play it. You know what? I want it to be like semi-realistic graphics as well. So when I send my kids to the bottom of the well, they're going to know what true nightmares are. They're going to know true nightmares. I hope they keep the torture things down there. God, knowing them, they'll edit it out. Dead hand better not be turned into a cartoony mess. You still better be a creepy ass. Yeah, he still better be creepy ass, reaching hands up my ass. I want to see my kids freak out to that shit. Telling you right now, it gave me nightmares as a kid. It's time for it to come back around. What goes around comes around. Okay, look, my oldest boy is about to be 12. That's when it happened to me, baby. Let's go. I was 12 when it happened. Time to bring history back.
You want to talk about it, Nate?
I'm scarred for life. Chillfish. Could we ever see a new Conquer game or maybe a remake of Bad Fur Day? Someone want to take this?
Be nice.
Anything is possible because Microsoft is a third-party developer now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they will be the biggest developer, the most successful on Switch 2. And they love Nintendo. They adore them. Anything's possible. I'd say think positive. Conquer's a tough one because, it's a pretty vulgar game.
I love it, though.
But I love it. Yeah, we all love it. There's the over 18 NSO app. I do expect the 64 Conquer to make its way over to that. And I think Banjo-Kazooie is very realistic. And Perfect Dark. I think Rare games will be making their way to Switch, or say Rare IP. I don't know how much of a company Rare is these days.
I mean, they did well with Sea of Thieves, and I know they have that other game they've been working on for a while now.
Yeah,
I'm
for
not
many,
sure
many years.
Is that still a game?
Yeah, apparently it's still in development, which is fine. I think they're
Everwild. That's what
Everwild.
it is.
Yeah.
Everwild.
I think they're being allowed to take their time because Sea of Thieves is a constant revenue stream for Microsoft. Like they created a service game that's doing really well. They created what Sony's invested all their money in and keeps canceling them all. Might not have been a smart move, but what are you gonna do? Do you think we see Smash in the April Directs as Wink Demand? When did we first see Smash for Switch? When did they first announce it? What was it? The same year it came out?
They announced it 17. What? I don't know.
Remember, it came out in December.
Yeah, it came out in December of 18. Because I know Wii U and 3DS, when they announced that Smash, it hadn't even started development. It was really early.
Well, maybe it was that year because it was at E3 when everyone was here.
March 2018, it was first teased
So they teased
in a Nintendo Direct.
Okay.
And
So they
fully
teased
revealed at E3.
So they teased it the same year it came out. I'm just trying to
crazy.
think of that context. I know the prior one, they teased it years before it came out because it wasn't even in development yet. We found that out through interviews that like Sakurai kind of found out it was in develop or about to go in development when everyone found out that it was announced. And he's like, oh, I'm making a new one. News to me. I hadn't signed the contract yet. But I mean, obviously he was going to do it, but it was kind of like, oh, well, that's cool. I wouldn't have announced it yet, but all right. Anyways, so yeah, I think, gosh,
I think in the second direct.
gotta remember it came out in 2018. So like it could be pretty early this gen, you know? I don't think it'll be this year. I can see it being 2026. I mean, here's the thing. We found out because Sakurai obviously is the one that's going to be the head guy behind it. We found out that his YouTube channel, he pre-recorded all those things for like 2 years.
That's crazy, right?
So like, and one of his final ones that was pre-recorded, he said he had to stop making videos because he's working on a game. That was one of his pre-recorded videos. So he was working on a game for like a year or 2 years already at the time that video came out, which is wild. It's like, oh, so you might have already been working on the new Smash already for a couple of years without us even knowing. Bandai Namco is the co-developer on it, and Bandai Namco has dedicated Nintendo teams. They announced, hey, we formed them into this new thing, and they just make Nintendo games. And I'm like, could that be because Sakurai's been working with them on a new Smash? Probably. So, I mean, could they possibly tease one in it? Because that would be wild. I don't think anyone expects a Smash to get teased in that April direct. I haven't seen anyone predict that. That would be wild. I'm going to say they don't, but I'll give it a shot to get teased in September for 2026. I'll give it a shot. I still think it'll probably be a holiday release the following year if it does come out, and they might wait till like the February direct or something. But I could see them being like, nah, look at the momentum, look at the hype. Let's let people know what's coming. And they just keep it going. Because Nintendo had a really consistent release slate for the beginning of Switch, and I can see them being like, we're going to do this again with Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I don't think so. But maybe. You know, I can't rule it out because the main game, that was 2018. It was a long time ago. I know they still do the DLC characters. That ain't the same as making a full game.
Yeah. Or Sakurai could take the stage at the Nintendo Direct or the presentation and say we're working on a new project. Give a hint and then just move on.
We're working on Nintendo's next system. Oh God.
Dude, can you imagine if April hits and they tell everybody April Fools, that's not the Switch, and they just do something way different and show us another system?
Like, this is why Nintendo doesn't call you for ideas. All right. Stick to your indie world. Stick to your
The April Fool's joke was in January.
Right.
Got you months later.
Yeah, in April.
Gotcha. There is no Switch 2. Have a good day. That would be so bad. Joycey J. Hundreds of millions of views on a product that's not real. Why was remember we only saw renders.
Yeah, right.
We only saw renders. It's not real. Anyways. Joycey J. What do the two Switch 2 SKUs mean? One with color buttons, maybe, or a different color scheme for Switch 2 overall. So there is a running thought that there is going to be two SKUs at launch, which isn't abnormal for Nintendo. They had two SKUs for Switch, right? We had the neon red and blue, and then the black Joy-Cons or the gray Joy-Cons. Obviously, Wii U had the black and the white version. So this like goes back, like Nintendo having multiple SKUs. But the rumor really started with Next Handheld when he said, hey, there's also an all-white version coming at launch, is what he said. And again, his leaks have been proven correct to this point.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
So would Nintendo? So I don't think there's going to be one with colored buttons. I think the subtle color they went under the stick, like that's going to be kind of like the Switch 2's thing. It's two-tone thing. So I could see there being an all-white version. Maybe it doesn't go with orange and blue. Maybe it has a different color scheme with it instead of the orange and blue. I don't know if people would be excited for an all-white version. I know a lot of people like all-white. Like, that's just a really popular scheme for electronics. So I could see that being really, really desired. because it would fit in with a lot of people's like white setups where you get your PS5 and your white PC, and I can see it being really appealing. There's also that thought out there that he mentioned that there's a game with a 9, and he's kind of hinted that it's Mario Kart that is also going to have a themed version, but he said he wasn't sure if that was at launch. I presume if that is real, that would end up being like a holiday. Because I think at launch for the first handful of months, Nintendo's just trying to pump out as many as they can. And the least amount of versions they have to pump out, the easier it is to mass produce. So I again.
All right, Nate. I want to do something for you.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna leak something for you. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna give you a glimpse of what's coming. All right, of that second SKU. It's there. Go ahead.
What if I said no? I've never said no before, but what if I did? All right, here we go.
That's what's coming.
Yeah.
Splatoon Edition Nintendo Switch 2. That's the second SKU.
Shout out, by the way, to Cardin LH. He's actually a teenager that's been making all these.
He made the Switch, but I made the design.
Yeah, I know you did the design, but I was just shouting him out because he's been not getting credited by a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. I've talked to him personally. I use his stuff. I link him in all my videos. I tag him on Twitter every time, but I have permission from him. I know a lot of YouTubers have been using his stuff and not giving him credit. Obviously, it should be less often now that we have the official stuff, but Nintendo didn't give us that much official. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, well, there's still a purpose to some of this. Anyways, yeah, Splatoon, huh? You think a Splatoon Special Edition?
Yeah, the cool thing is that the accent on the Joy-Cons, see, they don't have to go wild on the Joy-Cons. They only have to do the accent. That just a little hint there, and then just do the actual design on the dock, to match everything else. So I think that's one of the reasons why they from the get-go, made the controllers, the accent part, of course the what was it, orange and blue or pink and blue? Right?
Orange and blue, yeah.
Yeah, so that from now on we kind of know, okay, so what they're gonna do is give us an addition, but on the controller itself, they're only gonna change the accent colors, and then on the dock they might give us a new design.
Sure. I think there'll be special cases too, like the Tears of the Kingdom one where they did the whole thing.
Yeah, I need
there'll be some special cases like that for like their biggest games. That being said, this has a question. I'm just going to ask this: when are we getting Splatoon 4?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Realistically, when are we getting Splatoon 4?
July.
First year for sure.
First year for sure.
Yeah.
July, August.
Man, you guys really think it's coming like that early, huh?
It's hard because it's looking like Mario Kart 8 is going to be the launch title.
Yeah.
It's looking like 3D mainline Mario is going to be the big holiday title.
Mm-hmm.
But we know, or we don't know. We know that Nintendo learned a lot from having a very strong launch year with the Nintendo Switch, and the importance of having that kind of juggernaut software right out of the gate, and how that builds mass momentum right from the start. And there have been some speculation and rumors from insiders saying they've heard that Nintendo wants to have that strong first year, and that they're kind of pushing the reveal and release of Switch 2 to make sure they have a strong lineup. I would not be surprised. 2 massive games in the launch year is a huge win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we got to come out the door swinging, and we're doing 3 big games this year. I feel like you look at the turnover with Splatoon, 2 to 3, not too bad. I would not be surprised if they squeezed that game. It's big, huge in Japan, not quite as big in the States, but
I wonder if they keep planning on their generations being 8 years, if the plan is 2 Splatoons per gen. Because Nintendo doesn't do that with a lot of IPs, but they just did it with Splatoon, and it worked.
Yeah.
So what if that's like a new strategy where they get one early and then one mid to late?
Yeah.
Interesting. It is interesting because obviously that's a newer IP that came up on Wii U where there was never going to be an opportunity for a second one there. So maybe that was always the plan to have 2 per gen. I have no idea. Wild. Absolutely wild. Next super chat we have here comes from Uncario. It says, what do you think the rumored Ocarina of Time will update and change? Any story changes? Anyone got any thoughts?
What would you think the rumored Ocarina of Time update? I think that I don't think there'll be any story changes. I think it'll be more details. Like say the story, like they did with Final Fantasy, they took it slow. They just expanded the story, and instead of spending
Beef it up.
instead of spending like 5 minutes here, they'll go more in depth with each section, each dungeon, each like part of the story, right? Like and they just expand that, right? Instead of just changing the story, because it doesn't need to change the story. The story is amazing. They just need
Right.
to make it bigger, grander, and just add more elements to the actual story. Everything any change they do needs to support the story that's currently, on the game now. So no
Yep.
changes, just additions and enhancements.
I'll say the same thing I always say. Give it the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment.
I don't fancy it.
That's exactly what I want. So all you're doing is adding,
Yep.
and you're adding a lot. I want a fully orchestrated soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I want more lore, more story, more of everything.
Yeah, I'd love to see them like kind of do a little bit of the Dark Souls thing where, you get items and you get kind of like a paragraph of deep lore. I think that would be a lot of fun. I want the ability to jump in it. I think never bothered me at the time, but like going back and not being able to jump in a Zelda game does feel a little bit weird.
It
You
is
know?
now.
So
yeah.
I'd love to see them incorporate a jump into it and kind of, modernize the combat a little bit. Would be really cool.
I would
You know
like to see that.
You know that scene with the Great Deku Tree at the beginning? You know how he gets poisoned and then he just dies and we move on. I want that to be a big giant dramatic scene there. I'm like, I want to Great Deku Tree. I want something big there. Not just it's the Great Deku Tree and he's dying. It's like this massive tree and he's like dead.
Cool.
That's I want to see something there, like very cinematic, very nice, touching, that will kind of push you towards I'm gonna get some vengeance on Ganon, something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just continue.
Losing your shit over there. I just want, all the new stuff. You guys kind of hit on it. We have a $2.99 odd here. It says, I'd really love a Silicon Valley 64 remaster. I've never played that.
Space Station, Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
Classic.
I've never played. What's that game like, Thunderstash?
It's the weirdest game ever. It's so weird.
That's all you got? It's just weird?
We rented it from Blockbuster because back in the day,
Dude.
whenever a new game for the 64 came out, you rented it because it wasn't very often.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you knew as soon as you scanned the store shelves when there was a new game. And I remember reading about it a ton in Nintendo Power leading up to the release. I vaguely remember like building stuff.
Yeah, isn't it kind of
planets.
simmy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
It was
never played
weird.
it. I don't even know what kind of game it is.
Is it as silly as caveman games?
Is it as what? Simmy?
As
It's,
silly.
it's a platformer.
That's
That's what
just
it's officially listed as.
it's just a weird game.
I mean, every screenshot I see just has a dog in it. So
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
there's not a lot of images for this game out there. I'm sure there's like video. There's probably 100% playthrough out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right
Yeah.
now. Looks like.
Yeah, it's a platformer for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you play as a dog.
Yeah.
No wonder every screenshot has a dog in it. That makes sense.
Uh,
Yeah, well, you know what? Screw it. I've never played it. You remaster it, I'll play it. Fuck it. I'll do a launch stream on that SOB if they remaster that.
No, keep it exactly the same as it is because I love the look.
NSO.
Hilarious.
NSO, baby.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
looks
it should come to NSO, but they want to remaster, which makes a ton of sense. All right, we had one last super chat here. This one just hit a kind of behind the scenes goal that the chat likes to hit. We hit the streak for 150. I have to add 2 to this. Is just a personal thing. It has nothing really to do with the show, outside of the fact that I get to chug a beer. So while I chug this beer, Why don't we start our signs out and let people know where they can find us? Stash, why don't you lead us in telling people that sign out here while I chug?
Tell people what?
Yeah, see, I know. I always do it every show. I've never had anyone else do it before. Be like, hey, Mike, why don't you tell us what you got going on?
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, Mike, actually, yeah, please tell us what you got going on this week. What can we look forward to? Where can we find you?
Well, hi guys. My name is Mike Odyssey. You can find me on my channel, Mike Odyssey, Monday through Friday, some Saturdays, some Sundays, and I do Nintendo news. I just I don't know what do I do? It's Nintendo news, but it's just news. And
If there's a new patent, you're like the first to show it every time by far.
I talk about patents something once in a while. I'm gonna start live streaming pretty soon. My content is Nintendo news, some comedy. I got a lot of I need to do a collab with Gamebird one day. Do like a big movie. Maybe we'll do one this year. Let's do it.
We should do one this year, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just family-oriented channel with Nintendo news, reviews, some gameplay. I have a Mario Kart tournament, Splatoon tournament. The last Saturday is a Mario Kart tournament, Splatoon, Fall Guys. It's like a triathlon but with games. And I'm gonna spin the wheel, do giveaways. That's coming back. The podcast on Fridays, Nintenbyte Podcast on Fridays, every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Paul Gale is in the chat. Joy CJ is also in the chat. I got Lily Hyrule and Zach Hendricks also is on the podcast. So yeah, that happens on Fridays.
Any relation to Jimmy?
Who's Zach?
Yeah, to Jimi Hendrix.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so just figured I'd ask. You never know.
I'll have to super chat on Friday and ask the question.
And I'm getting ready for I can start talking about it now. Getting ready for a huge show happening this summer in the month of June. Partnership with IGN. We have our fellow co-host here, Thunder Stash Gaming, and so it's gonna be bigger and better than ever. We have some exciting things that I can't wait to share. Can't do anything right now, but it's crazy. It's crazy. June. So you know that it's different from last year already.
Yeah, you're gonna have an updated T-shirt this year?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I had it.
I got to get my hands on it. I didn't get last year's. I want to get it this year.
It's already on the shop, MikeOdyssey.com. You can find your
up there right now.
Yeah, Indie Mania new T-shirt.
All right, cool.
It's in there. It's Indie Mania, by the way. Indie Mania, a show that we started last year. IGN picked it up. We have a whole bunch of developers, Way Forward, Pick a Me, a whole bunch of indie developers. We have a huge announcement this year. I'm not gonna talk about that. That's it. I get excited and I'll probably spill the beans.
Mike, just
stop talking.
Just step it.
I'm like Tom Holland. I'll probably let it.
Mike hasn't even told me yet.
Yeah.
And I'm a co-host.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I have him pride because I know you want to wait.
I'm just a streamer of the show. I'm the co-streamer of the show. But what's funny is this is like the shirt last year, but it's the sequel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Indie Mania 2, the sequel. The sequel.
Anyway, I'll pick it up because I never got the original shirt.
Yeah.
I always intended to, but just the paychecks didn't land right.
Yeah.
I'll get it. I'll just buy it now. Then I got to worry about it.
The last thing is I'm trying a new format on the channel. You guys can see me, right? I pick up the mic with my hand, like this.
Yeah.
It's a new format. I would like to get some feedback. If you guys pass to the channel, just leave a comment. Let me know how you like everything, because
it's like the beat 'em ups format. He does that a lot now.
Yeah, he does. He does it once in
a while.
He
does it a ton with the exact same mic too that we. Well, I mean, they're good mics. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can't complain. It's good shit. Yeah. All right. Now that I'm done, I guess I can take it. Gamebird. I think I go on find you.
I'm Gamebird Classic. You can find me here on YouTube. I make Nintendo content, whether it's news, predictions, discussions, as well as I like to sprinkle in a weird parody or skit here and there. probably my favorite part of the channel is doing all my weird skits and weird videos. But I had a little break, but now that Switch 2 is finally here, it's the year of Switch 2. I am back. I've got 3 videos planned right now. One of them is another parody sketch that I may have actually teased in this podcast. I believe I did tease it. Very subliminal. You'll have to watch the podcast, guys, a few times to catch it all the way through. But anyways,
Give me that watch time, baby.
yeah, right. But anyways, guys, please check me out. I'm back to YouTube. I'm super excited. I'm stoked to talk Switch 2. And I'm desperate. Please subscribe. I'm so desperate right now. Subscribe.
Yeah,
Hey.
we gotta do a parody Switch
I'm kidding.
video.
But seriously,
I'm kidding, but seriously. Yeah, guys, go subscribe. Let's get them to 1.5K.
please. Oh my gosh.
There's enough people
I'll
watching
do it.
right now to do it.
Yeah, I'll do something crazy too. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Oh, let's get nuts.
Did you guys see that joke in the chat
No, I didn't see it. What is it?
by Intergalactic Space Pirate? You got to read that.
That's what he said.
Intergalactic Space Pirate. What do you call it when a donkey has a cavity?
Donkey Kong.
No, when Donkey Kong has a cavity.
Tooth decay.
Hey-o. Hey-o.
Hey, there's the
That's
dad.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Love the dad jokes. It's always beautiful. Andrew Collette, what you got going on, and where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at the Andrew Collette Show. Follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm starting to post there more, and I got no followers, so that'd be nice. It's the _Andrew Show. But on my channel, I just released my 100% video of Donkey Kong Country Returns, and we got Astro's Playroom coming out next. So it should be good stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very cool.
I see why you're doing Astro's Playroom. You got to follow up that Astrobot video.
Yeah, the Astrobot video took off. I had no idea it would. But
Yeah, holy shit to that
especially
one.
since it's PlayStation, but yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you get lucky like that. Cool. Yeah, you guys should definitely go check out his 200% of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Here's what happened.
Oh, that's right. It was 200, not 100.
200%. Yeah. Some are 100, some are 2, some are 3. Most of them are hundreds, but kind of depends. All right, yeah, guys, go check that out for sure. I love the white DK in the thumbnail. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like it. Eric.
Yep, I'm here. That's
Well,
that's
shit.
pretty much it.
I was hoping you were going to say more. Thunderstash.
Yeah, you guys know where you can find me. YouTube, Thunderstash Gaming. And I just released my review for Indiana Jones yesterday.
And
Right, yeah, I haven't seen that
Very
one.
nice.
Yeah. If you don't own an Xbox, remember it's coming to PlayStation 5 in the spring. You can play it on PC. And I think this game is an excellent candidate to release on Switch 2. I played it on the Series S. Ran flawlessly, 60 FPS, no problems whatsoever. And this is a very expensive license, Indiana Jones. So I do expect it to eventually make its way to Switch 2. You got to make back that money.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Yeah, it's going to PS5 obviously here pretty soon. Yeah, cool. I haven't watched that one yet. I'll have to watch it because obviously I've played a lot of that game. I'm curious what you thought. Also, big shout out for those that didn't go watch his video from a couple weeks back. You guys got to go check it out. He's got the master list of the games you should be looking forward to this year. Big shout out, man. I'm so glad to see that video did really
Thanks,
well.
man.
Because I was worried a little bit. I'm like, is that video going to do well for him? And nah, it's doing well.
Yeah,
Go
thank
check
you.
it out.
There's a lot of work.
I only got about halfway through it because there was so much.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's so much. Like I don't have to put it back in the because like there's even games I was jotting down. And I was like, dude, I wasn't even thinking about that one or that one.
That's what I was trying to do. Is trying to get everything together for everyone so we don't leave anything off because
Well, the reason people don't do it is because it's hard to do. It's hard to make a video like that.
it was very time consuming.
All right, guys. Well, you know who I am at this point. I am Nathaniel Rumpfeljans. I run the Nintendo Prime YouTube channel. I am the main host, you would say, of the Nintenbyte Podcast. And I cover Nintendo news. I was going to say video game news, but it's Nintendo news every single day. Lots of leaks and rumors, obviously, around Switch 2 stuff, but actual news as well. Once we get to April 2nd and beyond, there's going to be so much news all the time. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be like heyday of Tears of the Kingdom all over again. It's going to be awesome. Just news every single day to talk about. So I can't wait for that to get started on this new generation of stuff. Obviously, it feels like it's already begun. We do have the Nintendo Switch 2 partner showcase tomorrow. I mean, the Xbox Direct is tomorrow. I will be live stream reacting to that. I'll be going live about 2 hours early, chilling with everyone. We'll go over what some of the expectations are for the show. Sure, there'll be a billion questions about, is this game coming to Switch 2? I don't know if any of these games are coming to Switch 2. But we know that other insiders are saying some of these games are coming to Switch 2, so we'll see what's up with that. But yeah, I jokingly labeled my stream literally Nintendo Switch 2 third-party partner direct, aka the Xbox Direct.
Well,
I even thought about making the thumbnail be like this official Nintendo partner direct. I'm like, no, I can't. The thumbnail is going to be the Xbox Direct. I can't clickbait that hard. All right, we gotta be honest what you're watching. But I do truly believe every single game in that Direct's going to be on Switch 2 eventually. So,
what time are you going live?
I think I'm going live at 10 a.m. Central because it's at noon Central Time.
Cool. Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna stop in for sure. Throw it on while I'm working. I'm excited for this, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this might be why I don't get a video out tomorrow, guys. We'll see. Because obviously, if there's some big news out there, I'm going to try to get a video out too. But
Yeah.
we're gonna be. I mean, I'll tell you right now, they drop a Switch 2 logo in one of these trailers. We're making a video, man.
Yep.
We're making a video if that happens, because that'll be the first confirmed big AAA game to have the Switch 2 logo in. So we'll see what happens. Also, I kind of cheated a little bit. I set it up during the podcast, so when I end this show, it'll send you guys over there if you want to set your notifications for all you live viewers watching. Yeah. All right. So that's what I got going on. Otherwise, I make videos every single day. I live stream Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Usually do a Q&A with everyone in the community. And then on Wednesdays, we got the show. Every single week on repeat. So thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure to go subscribe and check out all the people on the show, except for Eric. Even you can find him on X. Again, you could tweet at him. He might laugh. He likes funny memes. So send him funny memes. All right? All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. And I promise, during season 2 at some point, I will make an outro. We don't have one yet.
yeah.
But I will get one made at some point during season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe even a new intro for season 2 too at some point. But we'll get